What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode of the Smoking Tire is brought to you by autotempest.com. I love Auto Tempest. Whether you are trying to just browse around, whether you're looking at a specific vehicle to buy or sell, Auto Tempest takes all the legwork out of it, because rather than having to search every single site and put all the same criteria in over and over again, I hate double work. Autotempest.com handles that for you. It searches all the top sites at once, like Car Soup, Cars Direct, eBay Motors, and more, and compares those results to Auto Trader and Craigslist nationally, not just locally in your area. Nationally, folks, Autotempest.com. They've been a great partner. We love to have them. No special codes or anything. Just check it out at Autotempest.com. All right, on this episode, it's a name you've probably heard of, making his first appearance on the show, although he's certainly been around the automotive journalism block. He's been at Motor Trend. He has a really wild collection of enthusiast cars, and he's known for being a great driver, and he's a good dude. I love hanging out with him. Jason Cammisa is in studio on the Smoking Tire Podcast. And it's motherfucking 5 o'clock, so that means it's Smoking Tire Podcast. Here we is, folks. Hello. It's Tuesday. It's election day. It's fucking everyone's got their little stickers on. Not me. I put my sticker. Do you have a sticker on, Jason?
No.
Did you vote by mail, California?
Yeah, of course. I'm here. I'm not home.
Yeah. Oh, what state do you vote in? New York?
No, I vote in California, but I live in San Francisco. So
yeah.
vote there.
Remote vote. Yeah. No, dude. When I told my father, he was like, "Are you going to vote?" I'm like, "I voted fucking 2 weeks ago, Dad." He's like, "You did?" I guess they don't have in Connecticut. They don't have vote by mail.
Absentee.
Dude, it's so good. And also, you have to Google so many things. Like, what is this? What is
it
this?
Took me fucking 4 hours to vote.
Thank you for saying that, because I thought I felt like I was cramming for a final exam for a class that I skipped the entire semester. I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
And what is this? I was so...
The judges won. Jason Cammisa in the house. Hello, sir. Welcome on election day. The judges won in California is what threw me off, because you don't choose Judge A or Judge B. It's should this person stay, yes or no?
Does this person's career get to continue? And you got to think, if our careers were put to a vote, would people be like, Matt Farah gets to continue doing a podcast?
I would probably get voted off the island.
Right. And then, so what I did was I went through and I'm like, okay, I started saying yes, and I'm like, hold on, these people could be the next Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm putting a psycho in the... So then I had to do all this background research on them.
A lot of research.
Yeah. And I said yes to almost everyone.
To all the judges?
Yeah.
I said no to a few. I can't recall by name because it was weeks ago, but I did some Googling and I found a couple discrepancies that I didn't really like, and I said no to a couple.
Good.
I didn't blanket yes.
Good.
And I voted for a lot of Black and Hispanic women.
Yeah,
I voted for I voted for almost all non-white people. I think it's time. Let's let the fucking minorities run the show, dude. Honestly,
I think the alternative is clear of what happens when you don't.
Yeah. So I voted for a lot of brown and Black people.
That's really cool.
You know
what? I brought up a bunch of windows with like political action committee like recommendations and endorsements, and I went through and I did my own research, and I'm like, okay, this person looks like an asshole and this person doesn't look like an asshole, so I'll choose the non-asshole. And then I went and checked to make sure they were endorsed by all the
right.
PhDs.
You have to see who's funding the PACs.
Right. All I wanted like John Oliver or somebody to do like a show and like, this is the truth behind all of these things you guys have to.
Well, I watched the
funding.
Dialysis one. They've been running the fucking commercials for here. And if you're not in California, there's I think it's Prop 8 maybe, whatever it was, 6 or 8, whatever it's one of them, where it's like they've been running these commercials where it's like, if this goes through, I will die. And really what it is a initiative putting a limit on the amount of profit that these two major dialysis companies can make. And obviously the I'm gonna die ads are funded by the fucking dialysis companies, which are probably making a lot of money.
What's fascinating is like Ballotpedia was a really good resource, and if you go there, it will show the amount spent on which side of which proposition.
You telling me this now?
Like, the one like in that one, the money spent for it to limit that profit was like 20 million, and against it was like 180. And whenever I see that kind of discrepancy, I'm like, okay,
this is probably good for people and bad for whoever spent all that money.
Yeah, because people don't have 180 million dollars.
You can also pretty much go, did they take money from the NRA? Out.
Yeah, that's true. Again, I think I agree with you. They need a thing of like. Sometimes you can find which PAC funded what thing, but the smaller the issue, the less money they got, the less sizable organization that was behind it. It's hard. You got to do. Can you imagine standing in line and doing that in a booth in like 10 minutes?
No, fuck no. You'd have to bring in a cheat sheet with you and shit. Yeah. There are a few people that I follow on Twitter who had recommendations that I blueprinted a little bit as well. Yeah,
that's good.
People that are like professionals. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm sure a bunch of people have just unfollowed us because I said all those things. Fucking stick to cars, Farrah. Go fuck yourself. It's election day. It's the most important election day of our lifetimes because you fucked up the last most important election day of our lifetime. Don't blame me. I voted for the fucking email lady. Okay?
I'm not going to say a fucking word.
What's happening, Cammisa?
I am here. I'm here finally.
I'm so happy you're here. I can't believe it's been this long.
I can't believe you've allowed me to come here.
I've allowed you to come here.
Permitted this.
Oh, yeah, I can't have you and Johnny Lieberman in the same airspace.
I put $50 on Johnny walking through the door when I walked in.
Really? Did you think I was going to like Jerry Springer this shit?
Well, because everyone thinks there's like totally. And
by the way, beef.
Why wouldn't you? Everyone thinks there's beef. There's no beef.
If I was better at clickbaity YouTubing, I would have. But I'm not.
He's got what, an hour to get here.
He might be watching.
He might
now,
still be in El Segundo. Johnny,
Hi there!
Get in on the super chat with your fucking big Motor Trend salary if you can. If you guys want to get in the super chat, ask us shit. We'll do that in the last half hour of the show. It seemed like there was already a bunch of questions there for us. Wow, damn, people coming in hot.
People coming in hard.
Are people coming in hard and trying to get us to spread political messages? Sometimes people will just fucking make a big donation just so I say something real dumb. Which okay.
Yeah, here's the stupid thing. You're going to anyway.
Hey,
true.
The money goes one way.
That's true.
And most people remember the movie Doc Hollywood.
Yeah,
vaguely. Michael J. Fox, and he plays like a manager or a talent agent for kids who do like commercials. And this girl he was managing was all like, I don't want to do this one. I feel stupid. And he's like, here's a secret. Most people feel stupid all the time. You're about to get paid to feel stupid.
Fair enough.
I don't remember anything else about that movie except that one line that's fucking carried me through my career.
Guiding principle of both of our careers.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. What have you been up to, man?
I do nothing.
Is it great?
It's really good.
Is it fun employment?
It hurts a lot. The smiling, the wrinkle, like my cheeks are sore from smiling. No, it's really good.
So whatever you did that, whatever that.
Funny. That was
that just for today?
That was this morning. Yeah, we were like, I was with my buddy Anthony, who's the director of the shows at Motor Trend. We left Motor Trend together, and so I was at his place, and I'm like, yeah, I got to do a picture, but like, what are we going to do?
It's brilliant.
And thank you.
People listening, Jason's laying on the ground with headphones on, attached to a microphone, singing into it.
What song were you singing
Scirocco,
there?
Nothing. I was singing.
I'm picturing We Are the Champions.
Sure.
That's what I'm picturing.
That's a question for the audience. What do you guys think I was singing? I actually wasn't making a
Comment
sound.
on whatever song, if you're watching this live video, what you think Jason is singing. The winner receives nothing.
It was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and there were neighbors around, and I just threw myself on the ground like a moron and just did.
It looks great. It's a great fucking picture. You should replace all your profile pictures with that.
Well, did you see the stupid one I did for Halloween that looks like it was professionally lit, and it's a
this is you
so
in
stupid
overalls and only overalls.
Okay, so yeah, I have nothing on underneath.
There's nothing on
smile. So this is I wear coveralls in the garage because I am a child and I ruin all my clothes, and basically all of my waking hours are spent in the garage fucking with the cars because I'm the world's worst mechanic. So everything I touch breaks 5 times.
But it feels like a force field when you wear coveralls. You're like, I can just roll around on the ground. Who gives a shit? You can just go
You're
for
invincible.
it.
So I respect though. Your floor is really clean.
Yeah, the garage is clean.
It's a pretty clean garage floor to be
because
worried
all of
about dirt.
The grease gets soaked up by my outfit
because you're a rolling mop.
Yeah, I go buy a nice new white T-shirt and then it gets sucked up. So I'm in the garage and my neighbor comes over and and this is the same onesie. I wear the same like Dickies onesies. I have 3 of them, and she's like, "Oh my god, are you a mechanic for Halloween?" And I'm like, "The hood is open. I'm working on what?" Like, yes, you dumb. Hi.
I'm at a Halloween party of 1.
Right. So then I thought, well, it's a Halloween photo. Maybe it's Halloween. Maybe I should do a photo. So I put the camera up on the shelf and I put it on video and I walked away and I walked towards the camera, made a stupid face, and then I took a screen grab of it.
Yeah.
And there it is. And I realized afterwards.
The lighting. You look
douche.
like that the handsome felon.
the
really hot felon.
Dumb felon. Yeah, I was very, very upset after I posted that.
That's funny. Your life, your updates seem like a constant, like the Tesla stock price of emotions regarding your fleet of fucking unreliable cars.
Fuck, they broke again. I love them. Fuck, they broke again. That's my life.
It seems like you have like a great day, and then the hood is up, and the coveralls are on, and that's it.
There are two things I need to say to that. Number one, Aaron Robinson, formerly of Car and Driver, who's now at Haggerty.
Haggerty's like the vacuum now of good auto writers. Thank God.
And Aaron's among the best.
Yeah.
I adore Aaron. That motherfucker wrote a column. I can curse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure. Because you keep looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, that's not because of the cursing.
Okay, good. So Aaron wrote a column this month about how some British airline, and I should have probably done my homework and reread
it's
it.
Okay, Zach can find it.
Somebody did it may not be online yet. Actually, if you look at Aaron Robinson's webpage, I posted a picture of me because I wrote a nastygram on it and took a picture.
Aaron Robinson's is it AaronRobinson.com?
No, on his Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I can pull it up if you don't.
Whatever, don't worry about
it. But anyway, some airline had done some research and they realized that the 10 hours of operation after a service, any sort of maintenance, was the aircraft's most unreliable 10 hours.
Because people are not servicing them properly.
Or they're fucking one thing up while they're fixing something else.
Yeah.
And that every 10-hour window afterwards, the equipment became more and more reliable. So the idea is don't touch it. And I'm so mad at Aaron for finding this out.
This is like when the dirt is holding shit together.
Yeah. Well, or more likely, as a shade tree mechanic, you're fucking everything up, or a professional mechanic, you're fucking everything up.
Yeah.
And so he realized, like, don't tinker, just leave your cars alone and they'll be fine. So that's part number one of why my cars break so much, is because I touch them constantly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear a pilot be like, you know what, folks, we had a light come on, but we're just going to ignore it and take off.
Fuck
because,
it, bro.
Aaron Robinson said it'll be fine.
Aaron said it's great. And we should
This month's issue of Haggerty says.
I should also mention
Fuck
that
it.
Aaron rebuilds the engines in most of his cars, including he's got a Lamborghini Espada monthly. He's worse than I am. So I think he's just trying to justify his own, vehicular.
He's trying to stop himself from doing it by having like a mantra of like, just stop fucking.
It's not going to
working
work. We are wired this, like, every time the car comes in the garage, the hood's open for something.
That's why I'm so glad I can't fucking wrench. Because I have to wait till the list has like 4 or 5 things on it, and then it's just
and then you give it to some. See, there's the thing is, I don't have the money. I couldn't have the cars I have if I had to pay someone.
You
to work
could
on
if
them.
you fucking spent that time under the hood working at your job.
No. Do you know what journalists get paid?
Yes, I am one.
Okay, so there is no.
Well,
so
if you did other jobs though, if you did other jobs that paid more than standard journalist jobs.
Yeah, but I think I just had to bring my Lotus in for recall work, and
which Lotus would this be?
I have an Elise.
Okay,
it's got a 9-year-old do not drive recall on it, and my dealer kept canceling.
What was that for?
For oil cooler lines.
Oh yeah, that's burst. Okay.
And so I finally bring it in. And I'm like, hey, while it's here, do me a favor, do an alignment. And the guy's like, yeah, our labor rate is $250 an hour.
Whoa!
And I thought, okay,
$250?
Now you know why I do my own shit.
Yeah.
$250? That's fucking highway robbery.
$225 for BMW by me. It's just the Bay Area.
I mean, that's fucking crazy.
Now
is that Silicon Valley?
That was Silicon Valley.
Wow. Let me tell you something. $250 is about was that Bouquet Canyon Road I just saw? $250 is about the worst I've seen.
That's Johnny Cochran charged less to defend O.J. Simpson back in the 90s.
So I have a Countach now, which I'm very excited about, but I haven't fucking driven yet because I bought it in the middle of a service. There ain't no such thing as the seller's paying the service.
Okay.
And but it's at GTO Engineering. You've heard of these guys?
No.
They literally, if you have a Ferrari fucking GTO, right, or one of those Ferraris that races at Monterey, you take your numbers matching engine, you put it on a stand, and you take one of their engines and you put it in the car and you race with it. So when you go there, it's fucking $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, all the fucking way down.
Right.
Their labor rate, $155.
Yep. You know what's
I mean, you know what?
What?
And I was like, how bad is this going to be? And they're like, oh, we're 155. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of okay
cheaper
considering
than the
this
Chevy.
shit.
Cheaper than a Chevy dealer.
It is.
I mean,
Wow.
if we had a Chevy dealer where I lived, it would be cheaper. BMW. I mean, the
So
only one I
in
know.
San Francisco, they don't drive Chevrolets.
No, but I'm in Marin. It's even worse.
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't allow Chevrolets. So, but I think
Jews.
no,
What?
yeah, we do.
I'm
We're
just- that was a joke.
we're very
There's a lot
inclusive.
of the Jews in Marin.
Yeah, California's fine with it.
Yeah.
East Coast, that's why they left.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, we're
I
fine
tried
with
to make
everyone.
a joke,
That's
but I
not
didn't know
true
my
either.
geography, and it fell flat.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're fine with everyone except for poor people. That's fine. Doesn't matter
Apparently
what color
that's
you
not-
are. Yeah, but I think even Volkswagen's like $180 an hour. or something.
Fuck that.
Which
Yeah.
is why I
Okay.
work on my own car.
All right.
And independents are like 125 to 150.
$250 an hour for a lease is Jesus.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And by the way, it's a 3-hour alignment, so it's like do the math.
Do they not have, like, I feel like the Ferrari place, they make it up on volume, because like if you bring a car in there, it's probably going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
You're getting a restoration. So
Yeah,
150
yeah,
an
yeah.
hour for 100 or hours.
yeah, when I actually
But-
get the car back, which it should fingers crossed. I hate talking about time and when Lamborghinis are going to be done because you don't know. But there's one part we're waiting on. The rest of the car is good. We're waiting on one part, and there's only one guy who can provide that part. And they said 10 days from 6 days ago. So that's it.
There's one guy that has that part.
There's one guy. There's an ignition box called a Permatune ignition box. So the Countach 5000 QV originally has a Magnetti Morelli ignition box stock. On 91 octane, you cannot run that box to the full RPM because it doesn't provide a powerful enough spark.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? If you were running Euro, or gas, or even really good 93, it's fine. In California, it's not so good.
Right.
So you have to get a Permatune box, which shoots it off a bigger fucking spark. Permatune is like 3 people. They were at SEMA. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Here's the part that worries me. You're ordering. I know a guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you're saying.
No,
I know
GTO
a guy
knows
who
the
got
guy.
a part. and it's 10
GTO
days
knows
away.
the guy. I don't know the guy. GTO knows the guy.
Right.
So
That could be legit.
The guy's the part's coming. It just the guy had to finish up at SEMA and fucking send it. It was all right.
This is the worst week to try and get a part.
Yeah, no, I mean anything was a disaster. Yeah, but the good thing is out of this whole fiasco, A, that the part was under warranty actually, so it's free, and B, that I managed to end up with Valentino Balboni's phone number, and he has a lot of Countach parts, and so if I had a really nice chat with Valentino.
Wow.
Hey, Matt, how are you? And he's just the charmingest man.
He's like retired test driver / now he has a warehouse.
Yeah, he has a Countach and an all vintage Lamborghini restoration shop, and so he has some parts.
Okay.
So he said he would, he said if I need things, he can.
Every year he worked there, he just walked out with some full pockets every now and
He
then.
did the fucking Andy Dufresne out of the
Yeah.
factory every day.
Exactly.
Have you considered, not to get a little too inside baseball with your Lotus, Sharkworks?
No.
Sharkworks works on Lotuses as well as Porsches,
do
and they're
it
in
all.
Fremont.
I do it all. So the only reason it's at the dealership is because it's a recall.
Well, they do the alignment too. Sharkworks
actually,
can,
all right,
Sharkworks can
fair
do
enough.
that.
That I'd have them do.
Yeah.
Because I can't do. I'm not buying a $30,000 alignment
Yeah.
machine.
You're not doing a fishing line either?
No, I have some self-respect. But what I could do is, so two of the 3 hours on that alignment is removing the under trays. So I'll just do that and then bring it somewhere. But
That is a full under tray, and it's like 50 bolts to get the thing off.
700,050.
Yeah,
That is. I like the car. It's well and good, but it's the type of thing that I could only own now, having worked on other shit for 20 years, because it is the most fucking infuriating car you ever work on. You drive it and you're like, this is great, and then you work on it, and you're like, fuck them.
Really?
Yeah. It's just.
Because you have to remove whole sections of bodywork to do little things?
Well,
or
yeah.
because of what?
Most of the stuff in the front, you have to remove the entire clam, which is a 12-hour operation with two guys. But so I haven't done that yet. But I mean, to give you an indication of like an oil change, you have to get to anything, you have to remove the under tray. So you have to jack up the car to get to the under tray. The problem is the jack points are on the under tray. So
this is fucking genius.
And it just goes downhill from there. I mean,
so
you
what would a professional shop do?
They drive it up on ramps. They crawl on the ground and with a gun take 75 little bolts out. Take the tray out, then you can put the car on the lift.
Dude.
Pain in the ass.
They didn't make a little window for the oil change, like drain thing?
They didn't make a window for anything.
That's a good point.
It took me 2.5 hours, and I kid you not, to close the air filter housing. In 2.5 hours, I can have the motor out of my E30 and back in it. In 2.5 hours, I can build another motor for a Volkswagen. In 2.5 hours to close, because they use the Toyota clamshell air filter housing, but they bolted half of it to the fucking firewall, and the other half is on like a non-movable like intake hose. It's rubber, so it's somewhat flexible. But you know those clamshell things, they have to sort of like come together at a strange angle to lock and then close.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You just can't do it. And I finally found somebody online that said it took them like 2 hours and 45 minutes with 2 guys, which tells me I'm twice as good as he is. Wow. And you can put a tennis ball in between the air filter housing and the firewall to push it out at an angle, and then take 2 guys.
Oh, did you lose your Lotus Spec tennis ball?
Well, I now have a tennis ball. I kid you not. I have a tennis ball in my toolbox in the Lotus section.
It's labeled Lotus.
It's labeled "fuck you."
It's labeled
Ethel.
Airbox installing
that's
tool.
Crazy.
Everything on that car is like a monumentous pain in the ass.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'll take 2. Sounds
Get it.
fucking.
No one ever talks about
awful.
that when they talk about that car.
No,
Ever.
all they ever
Ever.
talk about is that it's super reliable, but they don't talk about it.
But when it breaks,
Yeah.
But you know the other thing about this, people are like,
either
why did you-
$250 an hour,
Right.
or you need
And
tennis.
parts.
You need tennis balls.
I broke an AC line. I was trying to get an AC sensor off because the fans were running all the time, and I touched it, and it went and dumped out all the 134. So I get this line out, and it's about 2 feet long. And it took me an hour to get it out from everything, because the real way to get this out is to remove the front clam, which is 12 hours and 2 guys and all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I finally get it out, and I bring it to the dealer, and I'm like, I need this part. And they're like, yeah, that's back ordered. We expect it 3 to 5 years.
Years.
And I looked at the guy, and I'm like, is that actually like an estimate on your computer? Like it says? He's like, no, but I think it's going to be multiple years. You're not going to get it.
You're just not going to get it.
And
You should
that's
just
Lotus
say
ownership.
It doesn't exist.
So
You
your
shouldn't-
car now has no air conditioning
No,
indefinitely.
I found one of the old dudes in town who could weld like 2 beer cans together while he was drunk, and he welded this tiny, thin little aluminum thing back together.
All right.
And I put it in, and
There you go.
Yeah, can't someone just like, I don't know, put something on a metal lathe and make something that fits instead of...
The only thing I was going to do if that didn't work was make a new flexible line. You know, just take 2 fittings.
Yeah.
You have to. The car is just incredibly fragile, and I feel like such an asshole every time anyone drives the car, because I have to give them a speech on getting in. Like, okay, here's the deal. If I have the top off, everyone wants to put their hand on the top corner of the windshield to
you'll snap that bitch in half.
snap you break the windshield.
Yeah.
If you lean on the door, you break the hinges off.
Yeah.
If you slam the door the way you would normally, like my Mercedes, the old Mercedes, you gotta. If the windows are closed, you got to really slam
Yeah.
it. If you did that in the Lotus, you'd shatter the window.
I never close doors hard enough in old cars. I always pussy them and be like, no, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking smash it. What happened there, Zach?
I don't know. Go back to other cameras. There we go.
Wow, sometimes our cameras just take massive poos.
It's made by Lotus. They're very upset.
Obviously, yeah, no, they're fragile fucking little cars.
I said to everyone I needed a practical car, and it's practically a car. It's not really. It is made out of tissue paper. They're so fragile and gentle.
But the handle
1900 with a supercharger on it from the factory, 1992 pounds.
Oh my god.
And 220 horsepower.
Yeah, it's probably fucking fun.
It's quick.
Yeah, and it's an Elise SC, right? Yeah, I like that better than the Exige.
Yeah, the Exige was too.
Exige just put me in the fucking hospital. They're so. I mean, crash.
Yeah, this thing rides great, and I mean, you can't see anything out of it. It's a pain in the ass, but it's actually usable.
I saw a very old man driving an Elise today in the city in traffic, and he seemed pleased as fucking punch.
Once you're in, it's comfortable. You got plenty of room. It's quiet.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's a fun car.
I saw on your Instagram, you just scrolled by it, you bought a 308 GT4 Dino.
I did.
Is it great?
It's amazing.
Does it drive exactly like a regular 308?
It drives nothing like a regular 308.
What's the differences? Because I think regular 308s catch a bad rap. I think they're kind of fun, actually, in all but the tightest corners. I think they understeer and the steering kind of sucks in tight corners, but I think they're all right. You don't like them?
How mean can I be?
I'm being mean. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. Is you going to jump across the table and kick the shit out of me? I don't know.
Not going to do that. Because you did like a card? No.
I don't know. You block people on I'm kidding.
I turned off comments on Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
That's like you smiling at not having a job. That's me smiling at not having comments.
Yeah. No. Okay. So here's my deal. The regular 308, the GTB GTS, the Pininfarina beautiful one, looks 10, drives 5.8. I don't like the driving position at all.
Yeah, the tilted away wheel.
Tilted away wheel. The pedals that are just in another county.
They're pretty far over.
They're far away. The visibility is just awful.
Yeah, that's true.
And the bigger
all these
issue,
things are true.
And the bigger issue, and then it's got no suspension travel and it rides like shit.
Both of those things are actually true.
And then it's slow as shit. Even the QVs are dog slow, and they sound like crap. They sound like, I don't say that they don't sound crap. They just don't sound good. The fuel injected, all the QVs are fuel injected, and there's not.
I don't remember if I drove a QV or not, but it was slow. But it was fast enough that I kind of enjoyed it. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, fine.
The GT4 has nothing to do with that car. So the 308 GT4 has that same engine, the earlier version of the 3-liter, technically a 2.9-liter V8, but the chassis is completely different. So the 308 GT4, for those of you guys who don't know, because it's an obscure car, was the only Ferrari that was designed by Bertone. So it looks like a Lamborghini Scirocco or
it looks
a Lotus,
like a Jalpa or a
Lotus Esprit. It does not look anything like the rest of the Ferraris. It looks more Mura meets Stratos meets really bad drug trip than it does any of the Pininfarina.
I actually find them mostly attractive as long as they have the right wheels on them. So there's occasionally you'll see a terrible color or terrible wheels, but if they've got the right wheels, usually they're pretty good looking cars.
And I'll show you guys mine.
But I like Bertone and Giugiaro and all those kind of designs.
The crazy it's a crazy design, but it's anyway. So it's a 2+2. It's kind of a 4-seater in the way that a 911
That's a great red with the Campagnolos is a great look for this car.
So mine is Ivorio Safari, which means jizz.
Is that cream?
Ivory Safari. So it's a cream color. It's not really jizz. That's Facima. That's a different story, which is the license plate I tried to get. And of course, they're like, no.
Really? You can't get jizz in a different language?
No.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
How do they know?
They let me get the IRS and didn't understand that at all.
They have turned down. They know they're onto me. That's my problem. So the only one that I got away with on the Lotus is IH8ERY1. I hate Uri one.
That's a good one.
And they almost didn't let me have it, but I fought them.
They wouldn't. I tried to get Grimace with 1 as the I for my Safari car because it's like purpley. And they wouldn't let me have it because you can't. First, they let it go through, and then I got a letter saying that you're no longer allowed to substitute letters for numbers. Or not. Excuse me, substitute numbers for letters.
Can't do that anymore. Wow.
Like that.
Yeah. Do you have a picture?
Yeah.
Hold it up to the camera in front of you.
Right here.
And
Oh man, it's actually that's a very pretty color actually.
So yeah,
let me see
I'm
that.
sure I'll get a different. I have different photos, but I'll post them or they're on a bunch of them on my Instagram. But it is a creamy white.
Oh, I lost it. I don't want to scroll. You're at Pebble Beach.
No, you really don't.
I don't want to scroll, but I lost it.
You really don't.
I was worried I was going to see a picture of Jim Glickenhaus's dick or something.
What?
I don't know. Because I scrolled to the modulo. It was there. It was there.
So it's I have Euro bumpers on it.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a great looking car.
Cool looking.
Is it 15s or 16-inch wheels?
14s.
14s?
Those are 14s.
Oh my God.
So these are the original Ferrari factories. So the original wheels were magnesium and timed out.
Go back. You're
I
driving on dirt.
Better.
That was the previous owner. He was mean to the car.
Wow.
If you guys, never mind.
Whatever.
Wait, there you go. There you go.
There we go. Sorry. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep moving it around, Jason. That's helping.
That really helps.
Right.
It's a good color.
So it's got 308, the official replacement wheels from Ferrari when the original magnesium ones timed out after 10 years, and Euro bumpers, and otherwise it's completely stock.
Nice.
But all right, so back to this. So the Dino, the original 246, was that gorgeous, voluptuous little car with the V6.
Also slow as shit. Now worth $1 million.
Yeah. Not quite $1 million yet.
I'm sorry, that was a euphemism. 300 to 400 for a great one.
A lot of fucking money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And so it's that chassis stretched out, but with their brand new V8. So the V8 is not based on the V6 from the 246 Dino. It's actually based on the Colombo V12. And this is the same V8 that wound up in the 308, 328, 348, 355. So that's the progenitor of all of the Ferrari V8s.
What year is yours?
75.
So it's before the 308 GTB.
It's before the 308 GTB.
Okay.
So this was their first ever V8 for a road car. It was their first ever.
Why do I think of them as contemporaries always, not as a predecessor?
This replaced that car.
Yeah.
The 308
GTB replaced this car. Yeah.
So it's a 2+2 with the V8 dogleg 5-speed, but the chassis based on the 246 Dino. With a wheelbase stretch. And the regular 308 had a different chassis. It was also space frame, but had no suspension travel because of the way it looked. So the GT4
wasn't the 308 GTB also really designed under the direction of Fiat? Hadn't Enzo kind of written off road cars at that point?
He always hated road cars.
I know, but I thought he really gave it up to Fiat after about 75, 76, right?
He was definitely involved in the GTB, in the GT4.
Yeah.
And he did the interior dimensions and all kinds of other shit. I don't know. I think he was kind of done with it. But he had also sold the company to Fiat. I don't think he really wanted to do the GTB. He never sort of liked sports cars for the street. He hated his customers because they were douches.
Yeah, I read Brock Yates's Ferrari book, and
Best ever.
It's a great book. It's a slog. It's like 500 pages, but it pretty much is like, and then he was a shitbag to this guy, and then he was a shitbag to this guy, and then he was a shitbag to everyone he ever met. Like
I wound up posting a thing. I think it was on my on Facebook about, it was a quote from that David E wrote reviewing the GT4, and it was all like, and Enzo has this like obvious disdain for his customers, which he thinks are effeminate. Like it was just like basically like effeminate like malcontents from San Francisco. It was just like I was like, oh,
you're like, oh no, this car's perfect for me.
Yeah, perfect.
But Enzo said so himself.
So, but back to the regular 308.
Yeah,
this car is geared stupid short. And the 308 GTBs are geared long, and it's carbureted. It's 4 two-stroke Webers with no emissions components on it. So
it probably is fucking nice.
And it weighs 300 pounds less than the GTB. So
what's it top out at? If it's like 125 or something?
No, 143.
Oh, okay.
143, 144. So the 308 GTBs did 0 to 60s like closer in the 8s.
Yeah.
And the last of the GT4s were closer to 8 section. But mine has no cats, none of the emissions crap. And it was 240 or 255 horsepower, depending on what you read. And they were in the 6s. So it's like a
2 seconds is a big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And all you get is intake noise. It's the most insane from low revs.
That's a pretty good impression.
I think I like that. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It sounds like 2 4-cylinders arguing. It doesn't sound like a flat plane Ferrari V8 in the way we know it with that high pitched wail.
Yeah.
It's the loudest, most like complex 4-cylinder you've ever heard.
Huh. Does it work properly?
Yeah. It starts immediately. It idles perfectly. It never stalls. It never does anything. Yeah,
that's fucking great.
It's really good. And
that's awesome.
It's fast.
And was it cheap? Ish.
I mean, by Ferrari standards.
Oh yeah, no, for Ferrari standards,
then very cheap.
Yeah.
And I think they're the best kept secret. If you go back
Adam
and
Carolla said that he had one, and he actually was always talking about how underappreciated they were and how nice they drove.
Even I was talking to a friend who works at Ferrari in Italy, and I said, "Look, I finally got one," and she said, "Wow, everyone that I know that knows says they drive so much better than the GTBs." And I said, "It's just no contest. No, and you
decent brakes,
great brakes, really great 4-wheel discs."
Nice.
205 70 14 tires. So they're like
205 70 14.
Yeah.
That's pretty balloony.
But it's a decent amount of grip.
Does Pirelli make a tire for it?
Pirelli makes a tire. Michelin makes the original XWXs.
Oh, really?
Still. Yeah.
In a new rubber compound?
In whatever they do, they do their classic.
They have like a vintage compound, yeah.
But they also, I have like Comptiers on it.
Oh, nice.
And it's fine.
With these old 14s, you can either get like whatever the classic shit is, or like the super sticky autocross tire that all the little guys use on minis and shit.
And these are like 20-year-old Comptiers.
That's fucking funny. Pirelli makes a new Countach tire. I just got a set.
That I'm sure can't be cheap.
They're not cheap, but I was expecting like heart attack. Right. It was $1,900 for a set of 4.
Get out.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like the
I was expecting $10,000.
Well, like the LM tires that are like $1,200 a piece.
Yeah.
You can get.
No, $1,900 for a set, brand new from Pirelli.
That's like a set of PS4s, right? It's like $500 a corner.
It's cheaper than the fucking Fox body tires were.
Yeah,
it's cheaper than 4 Cup 2s.
Jeez,
that's crazy. Cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked on it. Yeah.
I've been torturing everyone I know at Michelin. They're like, the Pilot Sport, whatever, like PS4S. I'm like, the best tire in the world. Make some for my car.
Yeah, make a vintage Pilot Sport 4S would be rad.
I have 7 cars, and Michelin makes a tire for one of my cars and one of my cars only, and it's my e-Golf. They make an all season that I can put in the e-Golf. I'm like, guys, I'm trying here.
Wait, so what else is in the 7? You see, there's an E30, there's a Cosworth 190, right?
Right.
And now you have a Scirocco, which you drove here today, which is actually quite stunning in person.
Oh,
it photographs well too, but in person it's really nice, parked outside. The Ferrari, that's 4.
God, you're good.
Well, I'm also we've talked about a few of them. All right, e-Golf is 5. Okay, what's 6 and 7?
Lotus.
The Lotus is 6. Okay,
and the bitch basket. So I have a VW Mark 1 Cabriolet.
Oh yeah,
that I built a 2-liter 16
Oh yeah,
valve
no,
for.
that thing's kind of rad actually. There it is. Yeah.
If you ever want to do a one take on one of the cars, it'd be the Cabby, because I want to see, first of all, you in that car would be hilarious.
It would.
Just visually, you'll never stop laughing. It's the most fun I've ever had in a car.
I bet is that a big motor in it? And shit?
Yeah, so they were from the factory with 90 horsepower, 1.88 valve. This is a 2-liter 16 with full Scirocco everything swap. So it's Scirocco 16 valve suspension and steering and brakes. Wow. It's about 165 horsepower.
Wow.
I bet it's fun as shit.
It's fun as shit.
That's great.
Because it's geared so low. First gear, like nothing.
First gear is like 6.
It's,
right?
It's
like a Mack truck.
But my buddy with a GTI Sport Pack, it pulls a little tiny bit through first gear on a GTI. It pulls on a Mustang 5-liter through first because it's just geared so short. And it just makes the most ridiculous noise. It's the angriest four-cylinder you can hear.
I do like those 16-valve engines. They're fun.
Especially if it's cammed. I mean, it's not stock.
A Cabrio seems like a fun California car to have.
Perfect. I can fit 4 guys in. Like 4 of us can go and park in San Francisco, which San Francisco is like Europe in that the parking spots are mostly non-delineated. So if you can squeeze a car in, you can squeeze a car in.
A smart car actually works in San Francisco.
So I need something that I can park in the city that's got big stout bumpers because of all the assholes who park by Braille. And that's quick. And
that's really fun.
And then it's a monster on the back roads. It's so much fun. There's kind of not much that can keep it. It heaves over. It goes up on 2 wheels. And
how's the chassis flex?
There's I have a lot of bracing on the car, and still it has cowl shake at idle, and I'm not kidding. I also have like no flywheel weight in it and cams, so it's just. But literally, you can see the windshield header and the dash go in opposite directions.
That's actually. Can you see that gap between the dash and the door like move?
It's not that bad. It was.
I remember. I forgot what I drove where you could actually see that. Oh, you know what it was? It was
Murano cross cab.
No, that's a good guess. It was the first, well, not first gen, like a 2005 M6 cab.
Yeah, they were flexing.
They were fucking brutal. They were jiggly as shit. Can you believe that thing was 125 grand?
No, thanks.
Fucking joke.
No, thanks.
Did you drive that Lancia?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did.
The repop Lancia
the
Ferrari
Nuovo
base.
Stratos.
Go back up, the blue thing. Pull it up. So the Stratos 2.0. I drove an original Stratos once for 10 minutes.
Oh my god!
I hate you for that.
And it was the best and worst thing ever. It was geared as last raced.
Okay.
Which was the last race was the 1975 Monte Carlo Rally. So it could rev to 9 in theory, but they put a MSD like rev limiter in at 6 or 62 to not blow it up.
60 miles an hour and
and
that was it.
Topped out at 62 miles an hour. It was so disappointing. But the idea, the visual of being in it was incredible. This seems like the greatest thing ever.
Well, now imagine that with an F430 motor in it.
Great. So motor. Tell the folks what this is if they've been hiding under a rock and haven't seen this.
So this is a company in Italy called MAT, Manifattura something Torino.
Automobilia
Torino. Whatever, it's MAT.
Yeah.
And you buy an F430 Scuderia.
Done.
And you ship it to them and they chop like a foot out of the wheelbase. I want to say some obscene amount out of the wheelbase.
It looks super, super short.
And then rebody it in carbon fiber as a Lancia Stratos.
Their concept for this was black, right? And it was years ago. I remember this is one of my favorite cars ever made. It is one of the coolest, best looking things that has ever.
They have managed to not fuck it up visually either. It really looks correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it looks hot as shit. And they keep tempting me, saying they want me to come to Italy to drive.
The black looks great
one.
too. Wait, so the blue is not the production?
That was their show car to sort of get more interest, and I drove it.
Is that the black one repainted?
I don't think so. I think they're different. I don't know. I mean,
not that it really matters.
I think there were 2. But this one was an F1 tranny, and this was like their development car, and they beat the shit out of it. And they're like, don't tell anyone. But this poor thing had been really beat, but it was
kind of good. That's what it should be.
The only place it showed was in the transmission. I mean, it was like basically an unconscious, drunk, stoned 16-year-old learning to drive stick for the first time off the line.
No, those F1 boxes when they get tired,
horrible to begin with.
Get really
downhill
tired.
from there. So imagine 70,000 miles of track use.
Can they build a stick one?
That's the best part. They will build you a stick Scuderia motored
That's
Stratos,
fucking
like-
rad. But it has to be a Scud. It can't be a regular 430.
I think they could probably do it from a regular 430, but why
Bet they'd
would
be-
you?
Well, because it's $100,000 difference.
You're paying $2 million for a car.
Or
Whatever
is it $2 million?
I don't know.
Whatever it is. I mean, I'd believe it if it was, but
I think it's,
that sounds like
I
a
think
lot.
it's closer to. I think it's like between 600 and $1 million.
Yeah, that's two would be
2 is a
crazy
huge
for this.
fucking number. To
Here's-
me, I think 600, 700 is where this lives. Gunther Works money, right?
Yeah,
Because honestly, and I hate to even ask this question this way,
Doesn't matter.
what else would you buy for $600,000?
Well, that's a lot of fucking money.
Well,
There's a lot of things
Singer-
I'd buy.
Are those over
Right.
that
So
now?
this is a Singer, basically.
I'd rather have
Ferrari-
this than a
Ferrari.
Singer.
Ooh.
I love Maz.
Yeah.
I love Maz. I love Rob. I love Singers.
Me too.
But this is.
I drove both, and I'm telling you, I'd rather. Have
I'd
this.
rather have this. I hate to say it. You can go to any Cars and Coffee in Southern California, and there's at least one Singer.
I was
there.
going to say, is it because this is different?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Look at it. I mean, people
I know-
have lost their.
I love
shit
this
on their-
because I think Porsche's the looks are kind of meh to me because they all look the same, and it's not. This is amazing.
Here's the
How did it
argument
feel to
against Singers.
a
You can
foot
get
shorter?
80% of the way to a Singer for about a third of the price.
It's
Whereas
really
there's no halfway to this.
Right.
Good point.
And the one I drove was, I need to be really clear, it was their prototype, so it wasn't really finished, and the materials weren't Singer level, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't supposed to be. This was just their test to make sure the car drove well, and my God, did it ever.
This looks like if you took a 1966 Ford GT40 to the 2005 Ford GT, this is that to the
To this,
Stratos.
right.
It's really executed properly.
How did it
How's the-
feel
oh,
a foot
yeah.
shorter?
It didn't. It honestly, I was really worried that it was going to be bucky and like twitchy and miserable, and I got it up to ungodly speeds. We were driving it in sort of traffic, and I did this one extended on ramp, and I looked down and was mortified at how fast we were going. It was perfectly stable. It was totally fine, and it was nimble, and that's what it wasn't like jumpy or jerky. It was just nimble in a way that the Ferrari, I don't remember, was. It doesn't have the best steering in the world because the 430 didn't have the most
It's
talkative.
straight out of the 430.
It's all straight out of there.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think they put a quicker rack in it.
A quicker rack.
yeah.
Wow. The one that I drove, which was a Lancia Works car, one of the 25 Works race cars, had really quick steering in
Gotcha.
it. Like
As it should
quick like a Formula Drift car. Quick.
Oh, wow.
Like it didn't have all the angle,
Right.
but it was just like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, it was
I love
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like a good quick rack.
So if they
Alpha Julia.
chopped, so a wheelbase of an F430 is 102. So if they took a foot off, it's the same wheelbase as a Miata, an NA. It is, which
Big difference.
seems great.
With the engine in the back. What's the wheelbase of an MR2? Like a first gen, and like a 1987 or 8 MR2.
I feel like I need to look this up to make sure it was some outrageous amount. It was like 9 inches or a foot or something.
I mean, either way is a lot. That's a
Matt
bunch to take out of a.
Stratos.
I mean, a mid-engine car. You know, if you, and it remains mid. The engine's ahead of the rear wheels still.
Yeah, it would have to be. It's
Is
the
it-
same transmission.
MR2 is 91.
Okay, it's longitudinal still, right?
Yep.
Okay, so because the original one was a transversely mounted engine.
The original Stratos.
The original Stratos
exactly.
was a transversely mounted
Right.
Dino engine. Yeah, so it was 10 inches shorter to get to an MR2 from a 430.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Basically.
That's fucking good.
That sounds great, and it's wide.
Sounds
I mean,
awesome.
dude. What a good
You'd have to get the stick one.
You'd have to.
You'd
that
have
was
to.
it. That was it. I mean, the only thing that I really said no way, no how was that transmission.
Yeah.
But I said that in the F430s when they came out.
Yeah.
I delivered pizzas in one as a story for automotive.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually showed up at Domino's and got a job. Didn't tell them anything. Got a job to deliver pizza, and I showed up with an F430 and a Gallardo.
You fucking kidding, kid? What are you doing?
Well, and I hit him around the back, so they didn't know.
They
so
never-
they have to
no
do,
one ever
they have to
looked
do
at
an
your
inspection. They do a safety inspection, like for lights and on your car. And I brought my old E30. I had an E30 like coupe that was just a shitbox, and I brought that, and they signed off, and I showed up for my first day of work in the Lambo, put it around back, and then I had to put the sign on it, and it's magnetic, and the car's aluminum, so I had to tape it everywhere. And then I went up for my first delivery, and I came back, and they were all standing outside, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on? We just got all these calls, like 4 calls, like I want the Lambo to deliver my pizza," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "It's the new guy." So anyway, I did, but there was reasoning behind this insanity. I needed to do a comparo of those two cars, and I thought it's all been done before.
Yeah.
And really about the thing about that Gallardo was it would have made a really good daily driver. It was just nice car to drive. And if you're gonna test something's ability to be a daily driver, well, just shorten that test and deliver pizzas in it.
Yeah.
And that's how it came. The Ferrari smoked its clutch on the first delivery, and that was the end of that.
That's so.
And the Lambo
funny.
had the front end lift system, so it cleared everyone's driveways, and it was just a real car.
That's very fun. Here you go.
There it is.
That is a.
No, it's an
great
09, so it's a 560. Yeah, I mean, if this was an 04, man, that would have been a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, in 2009,
The backup camera. I mean,
yeah,
that was a fun story.
that's
But
funny.
the weird
So
thing
they
is-
got pissed, and then they were like, we're selling a lot of pizzas.
No, as it turns out, the owner of that franchise was like, dude, I'm reading automobile, and I should have recognized your name.
Oh, that's really funny.
You're only delivering pizzas if I can go with you in the passenger seat. I'm
of
like,
course.
fuck yeah.
There you go.
That was fun. That was fun.
Domino's Pizza has a good sense of humor about shit.
I don't think corporate would have.
No?
We never talked to them. But if you notice, there's no Domino's logo anywhere that's clearly
You
visible.
could kind of see it on top of the Lambo there, but that's funny.
But
I
I
could
actually
identify
showed
that pizza in that picture as Domino's for sure.
I don't know if that's a really good thing that you should admit.
What year did they change the sauce? I forget. Was it after 09?
I don't know.
It did get better.
When
they changed their recipe.
Everyone's been talking. Like my circle of friends have all been talking about this because I ordered
Yeah,
Domino's for a party, and it wasn't bad.
No, yeah, I can't remember what year it was. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they changed their recipes, and the pizza got noticeably better.
And we just discovered that we grew up like 10 minutes from each other. I am Italian, originally from Brooklyn. If my family ever found out that I ordered Domino's pizza, like there'd be a dead horse in my fucking bed.
Well, what cooking show was it on Netflix? They did a specialty all about pizza. It's like an hour long. It's with a guy like
Mind of a
Eddie
Chef?
Huang or something like that, and he goes to Italy, and they talk to like the governing body in Italy that can verify these pizza things.
that says what is a
They say,
Neapolitan
"What's a
pizza and what isn't.
And he goes to Brooklyn, and then
The
he brings the
stuffiest guy
Brooklyn
ever.
guy to Domino's, and and the chef's like, I think it's pretty good. And the the guy from Brooklyn's like, fuck this isn't anything. And then he eats it, and he's like, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Like, don't tell anybody. But
I mean, like Brooklyn, we're purists about it. Like,
Yeah.
Brooklyn invented pizza, basically. The sort of
kind
pizza,
of pizza
that
that we
we
eat in
know is
America,
American.
yeah.
And so I grew up eating the best pizza in the country.
Yeah.
We have one place by me called West Brooklyn Pizza, and I walked in there and I'm like, if this isn't real fucking West Brooklyn pizza, I'm going to throw it at you. The guy's like, "Oh, break your fucking legs!" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're from Brooklyn,
in California."
He's in California.
Oh yeah, there's a place in Santa Monica called New York Bagel and Deli.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and it looked exactly like a New York bagel place, and the bagels looked right, everything looked right. And I go, "Oh, you really from New York?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, I'm from New York too." And he goes, "Where?" And I go, "Westchester." And he rolled his eyes at
course
me,
he did.
and I go, "Oh, I'm home." Like,
Somebody
thank
with
you.
fucking attitude.
Yes, I'm
Thank
like,
you.
If you think from 3,000 miles away that I'm not New York enough
Right.
from you in Westchester, like you're exactly the kind of guy who's be making
what
my
are you
bagels.
running numbers when you were a kid to the New York Stock Exchange or something like that? Go fuck yourself.
This
Go
guy
fuck
had that fucking Yonkers old white guy from Yonkers.
As it
affect.
should be.
As it
That's
should
who
be.
you buy a fucking bagel from.
Exactly.
Huh?
It was good. Fuck, I'm jealous you got to drive that Stratos.
That was
That's
really-
just rad.
Really good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to drive one in anger. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to disappoint people, but I don't really like all the new Ferrari stuff. I just can't. I can't drive a sports car with an automatic, and nothing's manual anymore. The fact that you can get that motor with a manual, which you could never get from Ferrari.
That door
and
looks
you have-
gorgeous. Look at that. Pull that picture up, Zach. That door looks fucking hot, man. That's a good piece of carbon there.
This is more of the Stratos door for people listening. It's got the door pull is in the door pocket, which is carbon, and lined with
that
Alcantara,
pocket.
of course.
Well, that's
The pocket holds a
a
helmet.
throwback to the original Stratos. If you the original Stratos had these huge, deep door pockets that were for your open face helmet and your headsets. Yeah.
They did it right. They did right by that car.
Yeah. See, look at the top. See that? That's the original Stratos door pocket.
Snap.
Pretty fucking rad. They really did the good throwback there. It works. Totally works.
It does work.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm with you on the loss of the manuals. I think that's part of the reason air-cooled Porsches are so popular right now.
I sound like that old guy all the time about, I don't want an automatic and I don't want this. But the reality
They're fun.
is,
They're more fun.
you want to walk down the street or you want to dance?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can walk, like, if
I
the
want to do
whole...
some Gene Kelly shit,
Right?
bro.
If the whole point of, if driving, the pleasure of driving is driving, then just let me do it.
Well, here's the problem. Stats sell cars. Right, so everything's got to be faster and faster. I don't make the fucking rules.
I know.
This is, the magazines publish the stats. The stats sell the cars, and the fucking people who can't even drive the cars as fast as the people in the magazines or the racing drivers can. They go buy the cars, but they really want to drive them in the traffic,
right,
which is getting worse.
Right,
here especially, and so that perpetuates itself. But
here's the thing. Let me throw everyone.
I'm not defending that. It's just an observation.
It's an explanation, and it's perfectly. I think you're totally accurate. But the fault lies with the car magazines, and I worked for 3 of the 4 big ones, so I can throw them all under the bus and say they're a bunch of assholes. It's not about the fucking 0 to 60 numbers. So 0 to 60 numbers and all the instruments tested. First of all, none of you who are listening to this podcast will ever get fucking close to the numbers that we got at any of the magazines. Why? Because we destroyed the fucking cars doing it.
Describe what you have to do to get a good 0 to 60 time on the average, let's call it a Corvette ZR1 with a manual gearbox.
That's far less abusive than some, because it's got so much power that you could just probably launch it at 1200 RPM and feather foot it, right? But this is somebody, so like the Chris Walton who does Motor Trends testing, the guy's like the most gentle guy in the world, and he's really easy on the equipment. So you need a guy with that sort of calm demeanor to be able to test it. You do anything in anger, you're going to be slow. You're going to do a 7 second 0 to 60 in a car like that. So he'll do a couple of like test launches and just go really slow and into the throttle, and he's managing traction the whole way through first. But this, like, we think, 9,000 RPM clutch dump and whatever. But the problem is the slower cars, that's what you have to do. Like, I did numbers on an RX-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I want you to imagine I pull up to a very purposefully grippy surface.
Yeah. Like a VHT surface?
Not VHT. They're not prepped, but it's a section of road that we've, or
a well-chosen section of
with a lot
track.
of rubber on it, because that's where we do a lot of the testing. And everything's fine. You turn stability control off. V-Box is ready to go. And I put my foot on the floor and I allow revs to stabilize at 9,500 RPM, wherever the limiter was on that thing. And I literally sidestep the clutch. Just
oh my God.
press clutch in first gear and then move my foot to the left so the clutch can pop off as quickly as possible, because that's far less abusive to the clutch than slipping it out.
Yeah.
And that was the only way, that sudden engagement of the clutch was the only way to break the rear wheels loose on that car. And you just instantly have 9,500 RPM worth of inertia going through all those motor mounts and the tranny and the clutch and whatever. And it would break the rear wheels loose, and you just get this beautiful, like, the whole way through first gear. And just as you're about to approach $9,000 again, as fast as you possibly can, clutch, shift, clutch back out. You're technically supposed to lift, but you don't really have time to do it.
Yeah.
And if you watch like Scott Mortara or some of the best guys in the business who get the best numbers, Scott was with us at Motor Trend for years, and now Chris, you would think you're listening to a dual clutch shifting. That's how fast these guys shift. So there's none of this, like, when we're driving our own cars in traffic. Nope. That's 0.2 of a second. That's 0.2 off. So these guys are pros at managing traction, managing that launch, and destroying the fucking synchros in second gear to get that shift as quick as possible. Was it
Johnny who said that WRXs would just get annihilated because they would anything all-wheel drive that was low-ish power, where they just sidestep the clutch and
think
destroy gearboxes and everything.
STI, to test an STR. So you can't just drop it from redline, because it'll stall.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have enough power to overcome all 4 wheels. And you don't have boost. So you got to get boost first. So you want to be at maximum boost and as high revs as you possibly can. So I'd sit there and just from off, I'd whum, 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 so I can get as much air through the turbo as possible. And then on the last one, floor it, and like at $6,000, sidestep it. And if you sidestep it and you got a little bit of brake traction, you'd be good, or a little bit of clutch slip. Otherwise, you got to slip it. And there's nothing more horrible than you're like, whoa, 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 oh, it's terrible.
You could smell it.
I think, because I had an STI, and I think I launched it correctly, like as quick as possible, like 4 times ever, because it's hard to get it really right.
And the truth, like, if I looked at the numbers for the like my Scirocco back in the day. I got one of those VTEC things that you put in your suction cup to your windshield, and the test numbers on that car were 7 to 60, and the first 5 runs I got were in the 9s. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I started just really aggressive launches and like fading them back down to not be so aggressive, and then to shift as fast as I could. I never got faster than like 8.4, and then we put weather correct on top of it. Like that was in Pittsburgh, which is probably 2,000 feet. We're just never going to get near those numbers, and the guys who get those numbers do it for a living. Now the exception to that is the PDK cars, right? Like some Porsches with launch control.
Anybody can just do it over and over.
But who's going to do that to their own car?
Not a lot of people. I do it to press cars,
right? And they give them back. But I mean, like
my friend just discovered. My friend has a GT3 RS and just discovered the clutch kick function in the PDK, and it's really fucking cool. Actually,
it's really cool. But it's like because Harris, he played with it, and he's like, it's great. Just have room when you're doing it. Like, you don't want to clutch kick that car on a road the first time.
Oh no, he did it. Nick did it up at that awesome huge turnout at the top of Angeles Crest and did some nice slides and stuff. But
amazing,
whatever.
And I'm so glad they built that function in because that's
you know why he did it, right? So there was the press release said some bullshit about you'd want to kick the back of the car out around a turn to help the car turn. So I was talking with Andy Pointinger, the German who does all the GT cars, who's my hero because he gets it, and he was like, "No, I want to spin the tires at some asshole in a Prius." Like, that was the best. He's like, he just wants to do a burnout at the red lights to piss off the Priuses.
I like that guy a lot. I like that he straight up was like, "We're putting a manual back in the GT3 because all these assholes thought they could flip their fucking 911Rs." That was great. It was one of the most subtle, delightful fucking fuck yous. It was so good.
Here's the thing: he wanted to sell 5,000 911Rs.
They could have.
They wouldn't let him. They told him 500, and they fought about it. I probably shouldn't even be saying this. Fought about it, and then finally they, the head of sales and marketing insisted there's no way we're going to sell 500 of these. So we're going to go to the existing 918 customers, sell to them first, and they got through 500 of the buyers of the 500 of the 918 buyers, and it sold almost all the 500 runs. So they had to bump the run up to 1,000, so at least they can give the R's to the people they promised them to, and that was it. There was a total fuck up. But let me tell you, if all of the management just stopped questioning everything Andreas Preuninger did, Porsche would be in a much better place. That 718 would never have that fucking 4-cylinder. They would actually be able to sell those cars, and watch to see what he does to GT4.
They're not selling any of them, huh?
Why would you buy that thing?
I don't know.
Ever.
I will be, to be fair, I got one for a week.
Okay.
I don't love how it sounds. I did like how it drives.
Best mid-engine chassis of all time.
I think it drove really well, and it was fucking fast. My friend has a GT4, and we went out together.
Faster.
And
new car's faster.
And the 718 GTS housed the GT4.
A GTS for sure. A base car is a GT4 fast.
Yeah,
they're
it
stupid
was
fast.
so fast. And so I'll give him points where it's due, and I enjoyed the car overall. But would I buy one for $95,000?
If you gave it to me, I'd light it on fire rather not have to listen to that engine.
Do you think that because like vintage Porsches and everything else that's manual is getting more popular, more popular,
more expensive,
appreciating, more expensive, do you think the car companies are ever going to look at that and just go, okay, look, we've been in this arms race for speed. Things are ridiculous to a dangerous level if you turn traction off. And like you said, everyone's chasing the numbers. Do you think they'll ever give up on that a little and just go, all right, let's make cars, let's steal the market back the experience, because people like experience.
It happens occasionally. So first of all, again, it's the fault of the car magazines, because the other ones, it's not about the numbers. It genuinely should be about the experience, and the numbers qualify that and quantify what it feels like. Wow, this is fast. How fast? 4.2 to 60 or 3.2 or 1.9. But the car magazines themselves are populated by a bunch of people who love to, I hate to be mean, love to repeat what they read in press releases. And it's just a lot easier to go through a press release and repeat facts and figures in your story about the car than it is to talk about, to put in words what you're feeling. So that needs to happen. That needs to continue to happen. But some cars get it. You know, like Mustang GT350, they could have easily put a turbo on a Coyote.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, we want a manual only. We want that experience. And some subsets within the car companies really get it.
Jamal Hamidi got it.
Jamal gets it.
Yeah, he's over at Jag Land Rover now. I'm interested to see what he comes up with over there.
Yeah, the weird thing is when you look at all the successes for the true enthusiast cars in the business, they're all pushed by one guy. And I wish I could say one guy or one girl, but it's really just a guy. There's always a guy, and he gets it. And it's Andy Perninger over at Porsche. I mean, the man is just amazing. Albert Biermann, they did when he was at BMW.
At BMW, yeah.
They did a lot of things I didn't agree with, but at the end of the day, the cars drove the way they should. And it was him.
Is that the guy who's at Hyundai now?
He's at Hyundai.
Yeah.
Which is why that Stinger is like stupid good.
I get the Hyundai version of it, the G70 next week, which I'm actually. It's the same.
I'm
actually.
thing I rode in across Canada and whatnot. Which one are you getting?
The twin turbo 6 one.
Yeah,
it's an automatic. You can't get the big motor with the manual. But I hear the interior looked very nice.
Interior's real nice.
Yeah,
that's the problem with the Stinger is, dynamically it's the best car in its class or close to it, but the interior is really
well. This one, I mean, I haven't touched things yet, but I just looked at a photograph. Can you get a picture of the Genesis G70 interior? The fucking quilt stitching looked almost Bentley-ish.
It doesn't feel Bentley-ish. Like it's thinner, but it looks really nice.
But for someone who's never been in a Bentley, they wouldn't know.
Totally.
That's called the Maserati argument. For someone who's never been in a 300, this thing is fucking sweet. That looks. I mean, that's fucking shockingly good.
It was a nice place. I was there for 5 days, 2,500 miles, and it's very nice. Everything looks pretty good. Rode pretty well. The front end, is a little bit wobbly, but this isn't like the R spec model. It's just the beginning.
Are they going to make
I'm sure they will.
Like a
of course they
quote
will.
M version of? Oh, and
the engine hauls ass. I mean,
and do you see the N Velosters out now? And dealers are asking for fucking 5 over for them.
They'll be asking 500 probably.
Yeah. No, thank you. Do not pay over for hatchbacks, people.
Right.
That's for stupid people.
Paying.
You
over.
just don't have to. Right. You don't ever have to.
You only pay over for if you're dying of a terminal disease and you have to have the car before you kick off, or it's a car that's appreciating. Like I would have paid over for 911R.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a possible a little over for a GT350R, maybe.
Nah.
I mean, I wouldn't have, but that's a possible.
I love that thing.
I bitched at a bunch of people for not selling me one for fucking sticker.
Yeah.
Number of fucking cars I sold for them.
That was.
But anyway.
But now they're going for sticker. They're no more.
Yeah, you can get one now.
So it's just time. I mean, if you can't wait, then if you if you got $30,000, I have a friend that just paid $35,000 over sticker for a GT3 Touring, and I wanted to strangle him, and I thought, you know what, if he can just throw 35 grand away, which almost could buy my Ferrari, then like good for you. I can't. I can't imagine that.
Not I.
But whatever.
Not I.
Wow. Yeah.
I am not that baller.
Not baller enough.
No, but for me, a lot of times sticker's good. If I can get that car that other people are paying over in sticker, I'm okay.
I can't do new cars. I'm so cheap.
I'm kind of over them now.
That's why the e-Golf. My lease is literally $84 a month.
That makes sense.
And I don't have to put gas in it. And
I would lease another Volt. Are the credits still going? Can you still get the California credits? I would get another Volt. The Volt was the best fucking car ever.
People lose their shit when I say this stuff. How could you like electric cars? Electric cars
they're
awesome.
Rad,
right?
They're rad. I even like the Model 3.
Yeah,
most of the things about it.
Yeah, me too. But for my daily, I never want to have a gas car again. Why? Because I can do burnout right out of my driveway. Because you don't have to warm it up.
The idea with the thing about electric cars is, which you kind of hit on there, you're never beating on it. There's no such thing as beating on it. You go flat all the time. Doesn't matter.
It's great. I just had to rotate my tires again. My fronts would have been bald at 4,200 miles in the e-Golf had I not continuously rotated. So I think I'm going to get, I think the calculation was like 16,000 miles. All four will be perfectly worn to less than 230 seconds, and these are tires that are treadwear warranted for 70,000 miles. That is how you drive an electric car. And by the way, I'm still getting above rated range. I'm getting like 97 miles of charge when it's rated at 83.
That's pretty good
because my speeds are low, and I regen everything. I accelerate like an asshole.
Wait, so 97 miles and then you're dead though, right? Yeah. There's no range extending.
But I never. I mean, San Francisco is this big.
Yeah.
So
it's doable. I was just curious.
Have you had any reliability issues? Because my roommate has one of those, and he got, I think the first year they came out, and like his backup camera stopped working.
Really?
And he's like, oh yeah, they're waiting for a part, and it was like 6 months later. It's still doing it. Otherwise, the car was fine, and it's really comfortable, and it's a great vehicle.
Just a nice car to
totally
dick around in.
Well, do you notice you feel more calm when you drive an electric vehicle with traffic? No, because we've talked about this.
I find that when I arrive at my destination, I'm a little more relaxed than if I was driving a gas car.
My tires are smoking by the time I get there. Speaking of truck,
maybe we have different ethoses for.
You know why? It's the sneak attack. It's that I can do things in traffic that you literally couldn't do in a Veyron because no one hears you, no one sees you coming, and they're not listening to you go whum 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 and like ready for the downshift to like spike in for the kill.
That's my method with my scooter. I can beat anyone in a drag race that doesn't know they're racing. Right. I rock a Yamaha 125 around LA most of the time, and it's fantastic.
You can cut.
It'll do 60.
That's enough in town.
Yeah,
school zones.
Great.
Totally.
Yeah, you cannot get pulled over. There's absolutely nothing you could do on that scooter that'll get you pulled over.
Yep.
I look like I'm delivering Chinese food.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best. No one is like, ew, look at that dick. They're like, he makes minimum wage.
You have a helmet on. They don't even know who you are.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Invisible, no cell phones.
And I think on two wheels, they're like, if you're speeding and you fall, it's you.
It's you.
know,
Oh my God. Speaking of which, go to my Instagram. Dude, last night, this go to the top right there. So this is my friend who has the GT3 RS. This is him last night. I caught it on my security camera on a bird. Boom! Face plant. He got road rash.
He tried to stop with his foot? Like, what was he?
No, he hit a fucking, there's a bump in the road right there, and he ate it at full speed.
He rolled out of it pretty well.
They're trying to make all legislation on like what kind of helmets you don't need to wear. I've driven those things in traffic, and you should have like an inflatable suit on.
Dude,
at all times.
they, on 18 miles an hour on 6-inch wheels.
Nuts.
My mom tells me they're riding these fucking things in Manhattan.
On the potholes,
and imagine these things in Manhattan.
No,
you would
the roads are way
so
too fucked
much
up.
Shit in Manhattan on one of those things. Fucking
it's
dangerous.
like it's a little bit safer than skateboarding, but like if you hit the wrong rock or curb, you're going over.
Yeah,
they're totally dangerous.
I see in Venice fucking stupid women that have the baby papoose with their baby in front of them on a fucking bird. Yeah, people are dumb, dude.
That's
the herd's gonna get called.
Stupid.
Herd's gonna get called a bit.
I'm fine with this. Less traffic.
But Nick,
fewer people making
I
bad
put that
voting
video
decisions.
up, and Nick was like, "Dude, I got like 100 followers." I was like, "You want to fucking go crash again? Fucking let's do it. Let's do this.
Color next
let's
time.
Let's do it
See
in
what
daylight." Night vision works pretty good.
That is.
Oh man,
painful
what else have you driven that was good recently or terrible? Either one.
I drove an old Mini, an original classic Mini.
Classic one?
With a Integra Type R motor punched out to 2 liters.
In the front or the back?
In the front. It's 240 horsepower. It was the single most terrifying thing I've ever driven. It's on the Instagram page. It's actually my most ever liked and commented on.
Really?
Post. The thing was, I have a video of accelerating this thing. It was horrifying. I just don't know. There's no other way to explain. So in third gear, you hit VTEC at like 500 RPM or wherever the changeover is, and it actually relit up the front tire. So it's just this pull, and you're like, everything's good, and it just rips the wheel out of your hand. And
That's like when the Busy Moto van hits boost. It was like that. Yeah. Is it that right there? That green
right
thing?
there, that green thing. And it's not like, I don't mind fast. Okay. I don't mind fast at all, but this is unfucking hinged. Like you genuinely cannot keep it in its lane. I think the video might be.
I think
go further up. You went by it. Is it right-hand drive?
It's right-hand drive.
Right-hand drive.
So there's multiple photos and videos if you click on that one.
It's very pretty.
It rips the wheel out of your hand one direction or the other. So
is there a
on
limited
throttle,
slip diff?
Yes.
Does it matter?
Yeah, because it makes it worse. So, but I mean, cruising in fifth gear on the highway at 65, if you hit a bot dot, one of the little reflectors, goodbye. You're in a different lane.
No,
really, and there's no controlling it. There's no like
it's way too stiff.
It's just you don't know which way it's going to go, and the sign of a powertrain, like the engine transmission as a unit moving left to right, is that if under throttle it pulls one direction and the wheel goes the opposite direction. So let's say this thing under throttle, the car goes to the right, but the wheel goes to the left. And then if you lift, it's opposite.
That's not,
so
why?
I've just because of the way the whole thing's tweaking. So it's physically moving, like it's rotating about its center.
Shady.
It seems very dangerous.
I only know this because that's what happened in my Corolla I was telling you about earlier.
Oh my God.
That I had to lemon law in 19. I'll tell you guys the story in a second.
You gotta tell the story.
But this thing, you literally get on the gas, and I mean fifth gear at 3,000 RPM, like you think you're doing nothing wrong, and you're just, and it will rip the wheel out of your hand this way and go that way. And you're like, what the fuck? And you lift and it goes, and it just goes the other way. And you're like, whoa, how do I count it? Horrifying.
You don't even know what to do.
Absolutely fucking horrifying. I told my friend, I'm like, you need to just pull 2 spark plug wires, and even that would be too fast. It is the single most dangerous car I've ever driven.
Does it need like solid engine mounts to like fix that problem?
I don't think the engine is actually mounted to the car. It honestly feels like I don't know what's holding it in the headlight bucket.
He put the engine in the compartment and then forgot
and just let it go.
That's what I forgot.
This will be fine.
Yeah, I really.
That's so shady.
I want to put a GoPro under the engine and under the hood and see what the fuck is going on, because it's the scariest thing I've ever driven.
Great video.
But the noise, oh my god, the noise. Oh my god, I mean,
wait, go down on the. I think is this it? This is video.
Yeah.
Is this the? Do we have sound, Zach?
This is.
I think you just have to turn
watch
the slider
the wheel
up.
moving, and I'm holding it as hard as like. See, it's going left, right, left, right.
It seems like if you turn that channel on, we might have sound, because I want to see that. There we go.
The wheel is moving a lot.
It's moving a lot, and the sound is there.
Wow. And that is death grip on the wheel.
It is moving around.
Yeah, there's something's happening with the steering wheel there that's real shady.
Do you see that I had like 20 degrees of lock to the right to keep it from? Yeah.
Wow. I know that wow too. That wow is the wow of this is a fucking death trap. I've been there.
It looks like you're canoeing and you just jumped into the river. It's like moving left. It's just
and it
around.
never settles down. It's like one thing if it settled down off the throttle, but then it's fine until you hit something. I just like a bump or a fly or I don't know.
We were talking about this in the last show. I was at the Nürburgring recently, and there's a guy that has a rear engine K20 turbo all-wheel drive classic mini.
Get out.
And he fucking sailed on me. I was in the rain and I was going like 40 because it was fucking sketchy as hell. And this guy rolled on me at like 100 plus in the wet. I was like, who the fuck was that guy?
Some people just want to die.
Some people are either that good or that stupid or some combination of both.
Yeah.
Have you heard of these guys, Z cars? They do the rear engine
conversion.
Conversions.
And that's the way to make a lot of power in a Mini. I mean, this front engine one, I can tell you, is not the correct way of doing it.
I mean, some of these guys, they'll put what was it? He had twin R1 engines in the back, and it was like he had the shifter. The shifter was just 2 motorcycle shifters tack welded together, like levers. So you had to make sure they were synced up perfectly. It was bananas.
Ever driven a twin engine car?
No, but I'd like to try. Have you?
Yeah, my friend Anson built a twin engine 16 valve Scirocco.
Really?
And he just took a front subframe from a Mark II Jetta.
Just put it in the back?
Put it in the back, welded in. But the upper strut towers, like the actual towers, he made out of fence post. Like literally just bent fence posts and put strut mounts on them.
How'd that work?
It was miserable as 2 1.8 liters, but then he put a 2 liter in the back to give it a slight rear drive bias. And it is, there are a couple of videos that they're floating around. If you do a search for Durocco, Durocco.
We can't play YouTube videos because of the show. It has to be, yeah, it's because of,
if you, there's a bunch of stuff. If anyone in the audience, you guys want to see it, there's one where he's racing a 911, and that's actually me driving the 996.
There's the Auto Week article, Zach, right under that. Let's see if we can get a picture of it.
Just nuts.
There's a twin engine Lemons car that was an MR2 that had 2 engines in it, and it had 2 throttle pedals, and one of the. I think one was a manual and one was an automatic. Yeah.
So my buddy was smart. He just made a shift linkage that went to both, and then a throttle cable that went to both, and then he has 2 tacks instead of a tack and a speedo. And the best part is you start the front engine first and then start the rear once the front is running, but you can turn them off and on individually.
And they just kind of...
so if you want to drift it, you just come into a turn, turn the front off. Literally, it's not going to stop turning, and mat it, and it gets sideways. And when you're at your desired sideways angle,
you can turn it back on.
Turn the front back on, and it'll just pull it right through in this massive drift.
While drifting,
kind of genius.
Over and turn
there are plenty. Well, there's a picture of him right there of him.
Kind of genius.
So there's a video called, I think, Out to Pasture that we made in this is like 99 or something. This is a long time ago. It was just us destroying our friend's parents' lawn, this massive 5-acre lawn in this car.
So it sort of worked.
It worked. No, it totally works. The thing was that the rear engine was in the car with us with no firewall. and it overheated. It was spraying coolant at people. So it was, but it was amazing. Like you never get to be in the engine compartment of the car. So like hearing it is one thing, and the two engines doing this resonance with each other, wah wah wah, was really cool. But then you'd be cruising along at like 60, and you just kind of fade in the throttle, and the interior temperature in the cabin would go like up 20 degrees immediately, and then right back down when you're off the gas. It was so cool.
That's really cool.
Like a
That's
bunch
awesome.
of really weird shit that you.
Do you remember the Mosler Twin Star?
Oh, the twin North Star,
which was a Cadillac
Eldorado?
with two North Stars.
But they did that on automatic, like the whole. That's that.
There's no point.
Up. That'd be fucked up. But the thing is, you do two automatics. It usually confuses them, and a lot of times, like Car and Driver built a twin engine something years ago and tested it. And it wasn't fast. This Scirocco was faster than my 996 because two manuals. They just didn't care. Yeah, there it is.
This is the
Warren Mosler's out of his mind
Cadillac.
Yeah,
That just looks like it fits in the trunk because of course it does.
I think they extended the whole car. Did they extend the car? Look, it was.
They did something to
the body. Body is a little geometrically is weird.
They did wide. They did a wide body for like an air intake. I think they had to do.
Yeah.
Not very good photos of it, but that's pretty bananas. Remember, wasn't it? Was it like B-Moto or something? They had a Audi,
Bimoto. They
Bimoto,
had a TT with two engines
on
in it.
Top Gear, I think.
Yeah, they ran it in like a Nardo high speed shootout with one of those like auto build und Sport. Yeah, was that it? MTM? No, I think it was Bimoto.
Audi TT Bimoto.
Yeah, Bimoto, right? Yeah.
Audi TT. Yeah.
Oh wait, here's the photo.
That's it.
I like that air intake, the scoop on the top.
Yeah, right. The roof scoop. That's like all Gumperty.
That's crazy.
Gumperty.
That twin engines. In terms of crazy, my favorite one that I've ever drove was a Honda N600 that had a VFR 800 motorcycle engine in the front with a drive shaft and a differential in the back. And it had paddle shifters, a sequential, and it revved to like 12.5.
Wow.
And it sounded like an F1 car. It had a fucking valve in the exhaust to just dump it straight down. It was rowdy as hell.
I've never driven a car with a motorcycle motor in it. And
it's as great as you think.
List. Yeah.
There's the Lemons car, the Metronome, which was a Geo Metro with a Gixxer 1000 engine in it.
And it was fast.
It was super fast.
It was awesome.
Sounded like a Formula 1 car.
To watch, right?
So fast.
Scream.
Like, what? Yeah.
That same race, there was someone had done a twin engine like GTI. Didn't work. We broke a lot, but remember that was the most ambitious thing at that race.
I think you can pull up the N600. Forget it. Go listen to the N600 video. It really sounds like a Formula 1 car.
Ever driven an early like actual S600 or S800? The early
just this one.
Oh, that's the end though. This is the coupe, right?
This was the hatchback. Yeah.
You've never driven the little roadster?
No.
Oh my god. They're like 8,500. The 800 is 8,500 RPM or 9,000, and then the 600 I think was 10.5.
That's the one I drove.
Oh my god, that's badass.
You'd have to skip the ad. Oh, Beeline Coffee. The ad for Beeline Coffee. Skip. Go forward a little bit till I'm going uphill.
It's like a Formula 1 car.
Hey, it's funny you just said that.
Yeah. This is fucking
Around at 9K.
so crazy.
Upshifting a GT3 right now.
That's crazy.
So rowdy, this thing.
So here's the question though: did you blow it up?
No,
because I drove one car.
Look at that
thing.
interior.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Not only did I not blow it up, when I finished driving it, I offered him money for it on the spot, and I said if he ever wanted to sell it, I would buy it off him.
That's cool.
Dude, the fit and finish of this is so good.
The thing that worries me about motorcycles never experience lateral loads. You know, this like cornering loads because so I tested I think I was at Road&Track, a three-wheel, what the hell was this thing?
Morgan?
No,
T-Rex?
it was T-Rex with the BMW straight six in it, and we blew the motor because it starved.
It was a K engine, a
K
K1600 or something.
Starved itself for oil because they never experience. You're always leaned over, so it only experiences cornering forces as a force down.
Right.
That's so interesting.
I did 2 laps of the skid
so
pad.
The pickups are always down there probably, but yeah.
This had a dry sump.
Okay, that's the only way to fix that.
This had a dry sump. This thing was fucking thought out.
Wow.
It was, and I'm not sure I would bring it to like a track day, but in the canyons, it was absolutely rad.
That's awesome.
We got this super chat thing where
Many
fans ask us questions. Do you want to get through these?
Am I getting half the money?
We should say everyone stop asking questions.
Yeah, no, we have way too many, and I don't think we'll actually get through all of them, but we will try. Caleb says a BRZ or GTI daily commute is 50 miles, light autocross, and on bumpy driving roads.
There's no contest, GTI.
I think GTI,
Yeah.
just because it's a
Better
much
car.
nicer car.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's easy. Austin says, ideally a mildly tuned manual 07 335i sedan. I've recently been deciding between a helical Torsen or a one-way plate clutch pack style LSD. I don't plan on tracking the car, and I mainly want it for spirited back road driving and occasional oversteer during the winter months. Pros and cons. Do you have a thought on this?
I mean, clutch packs will wear out eventually, and Torsens won't. So there you have it.
I'm a fan of Torsens because they're pretty much plug and play.
Right.
Like,
I mean, there's no tuning. There's no clutch. If the clutches get hot, you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Torsen.
I would say Torsen as well. I had a Quaif installed in my 911. I'm happy with it so far. My Mustang had a Torsen, and it's fine.
I have a Torsen in the Scirocco. If you ever want to feel wheel spin, torque steer, man, it's amazing. Though.
Thank you. Miguel says everyone talks about Miata, Camaro, and 3 Series, all the usual suspects. I drive a Yaris and love it because it's boring with no aftermarket. It really inspires creativity. I have big plans, but nothing is done yet. I drove a Yaris autocross car that was rowdy as hell. He put a Corolla engine in it, a cage, nice set of Bilstein or Coney shocks, and some sticky tires and good brakes. It was a fucking riot.
So all I have to say is, Caspar, you go with your bad fucking self. That was
No,
Miguel.
that was Miguel.
I was going to say,
Miguel.
see, you don't have to have something that's established that everyone else has to have fun. And frankly, driving slow cars fast is, I mean, we all know. Just beat the shit out of your car and have fun. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And look at this video, the autocross Yaris I drove, because I was laughing my fucking face off the entire time. It was so great. Thank you, Miguel. Casper says, Jason, do you think your white GT4 will be a good investment or just good, clean driving fun?
I never buy cars for investments. I buy cars that I think that I want and that I want to enjoy and I want to have fun with, and it's a bonus if I don't lose a tremendous amount of money on it. I think they'll be okay. I really probably should start spreading the gospel of how good those cars are for my own personal benefit. But really,
use your own marketing machine there.
Right, yeah, no thanks. No, but I don't care. I'll be driving the shit out of it and having fun.
I think unless you have a knock wood, any kind of catastrophic failure that has to be placed, if you bought it for what I think you bought it for, it's safe money.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Keith Crane, so you have a sports car market.
Yes.
Right, magazine right here. He allegedly just bought a 218,000 mile GT4.
Really?
I test drove it a couple months ago and it caught on fire caught on smoke while I was driving it. But it was really good, like really genuinely good. I would have thought it was an 18,000 mile car.
Really?
And that was the proof to me that these cars are bulletproof and they're well done. If a car with a GT4 with 218,000 miles on it felt exactly the same as a 40,000 mile car, then I think they're good investments long term and they're stout.
My favorite Ferrari I ever drove was a 360 that had 144,000 miles on it, and it was a rental car at Gotham back in the day, and we suspect that it was an express car because it was fucking fast. It was so fast, and it didn't sound like any other
Matt
360.
Sarah, what are you insinuating about Ferrari
I don't
press
know,
cars?
but it was a 99. All the gauges were in kilometers, and it was in the U.S. for some reason. It was a weirdo car, but it was super fast, had a ton of miles on it, and it hauled ass. It was great.
Cool.
I say put a lot of miles on your exotics if you can.
Yep.
AP says, Jason, I love the way you simplify complex topics and even make them enjoyable. Was your banter with Johnny mostly improv or pre-written?
Improv. So what we would do is for the head-to-head stuff, we would get in the car and we'd each get like 3 bullet points of points we wanted to make. And because Johnny and I see the world very differently, like we don't agree on anything, which made for the best comedy. What we tried to do, sometimes we didn't have time to do any of it. I would ask him what he wanted to say, and I would write down what I wanted to say, and all we had to do was try to find a way to get a transition from his point to my point, and then we'd have an order. So we'd get in the car with an index card taped to like the nav display with 6 bullet points, and it was like a transition word or transition thought. But otherwise, all the banter that happened was all like me trying to make him laugh, because Johnny's the most infectious laugh in the world. And I would know I'd succeed because he'd get halfway through the next sentence he wanted to say before what I said hit him. And then he would bust out in that like huge Johnny laugh. And then I knew I'd got him. So all the banter was us just trying to make each other laugh. And all the points we made were just like bulleted.
I believe that.
Nice.
Thanks, Devin. Thank you, whoever that was. Devin says, have either of us ever driven a Tiburon with a V6 and a manual?
Oh,
I've never driven a Hyundai Tiburon.
No, I don't think I have either.
I remember when the second gen came out, I was like, that's better than the one we had before. And then I was not interested at all.
No, I don't think I've driven one.
I was in Hyundai's awkward adolescent phase.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Somebody said, long live the bitch basket, and I have to just say thank you.
Someone did.
Thank you.
For a lot of people, we have a lot of questions on this one, so I may not read out every just fun comment.
I wasn't going to let that one go.
No,
Someone's complimenting one of my cars.
You can have it. Adam says, I have a Ford Expedition and a Jetta. I'm looking to replace the Expedition. Thoughts on the Explorer Sport EcoBoost? The wife used to have an 04 GTO and wants some fun but still haul babies. I don't like the Explorer at all. I drove the EcoBoost one, the Sport one, whatever. It torque steered like a motherfucker.
That was the all-wheel drive one?
Yeah.
It still did?
Yeah.
It was quick. I remember being quick and having more room between my left shoulder and the door than I ever could need. Like I could have put a cot there and slept for a bit. It just felt like it was made for
A very large person.
a very large.
Like I'd rather have the Edge ST. My friend Larry has the Edge Sport, and with that same motor, or it might be the 2.7 EcoBoost, but like he's got a kid and he really likes it. Like I don't know how much shit this dude needs to haul, but
I just get a CX-9 and be done with it.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
go
is
for
the new
fast.
CX-9 nice?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Is it?
It's amazing. I mean, it's a four-cylinder. It's not fast and whatever.
Mazdas are not fast.
God, it's good. God, I mean, yeah.
I tried to get Hannah, my fiance, to get a CX-5 to replace her car, and she liked it, but said it was too slow.
There's a turbo
slow.
coming.
There is a turbo coming. Yeah.
That'll fix. That's the only complaint I have with that car.
Yeah.
And
It
I
drove
think
good,
20
actually.
of my friends now have CX-5s. 'Cause
Really?
I just people ask me for my opinion. I always tell them, I try to have a nice conversation with them, and they just don't listen. And all I have to do now is say, go to Mazda and buy a CX-5 or CX-9 or 6, and whichever one fits your needs the best. And then they come back and say they love it, and they sell all their friends on it.
Yeah,
So,
I sold my cousin on one.
Yep.
Same thing. They're just the EcoBoost is faster, but who cares?
Yeah, I didn't love the Explorer, but that's okay. Lucas says, I had my first press car drive this weekend. Congratulations, sir. It didn't disappoint. An ATS-V and a stick. Those are fast. I enjoyed it, but 80,000 is tested. Not sure about that price. Holy fuck, 80 grand.
80 grand for that thing?
Bro, that's a 40.
Johnny had it right on that. He totally. If that ATS had a small block in it, it would be the best E46 M3 ever made.
Right. Totally.
They fucked it up with that engine.
That engine is like functional,
almost as bad as a 718,
but not good.
What's the ceiling on price for an M3 though?
100.
Like you mean what it should
brand
be, or
new
what?
one?
No. Like a brand new one,
100.
specced out.
Yeah,
You can go to
competition.
100.
With a competition, you can.
Normal. Let's go normal.
Unless
sedan.
you go M4 GTS, which is 135 last gen, and everyone laughed
hate
their
that
way
car.
out of it. Right?
Yeah.
I
No,
just
remember
don't
the
like
one
that
we
much.
had that was perfect? We got a press car
Right.
that was
How much was
perfect. M3,
60?
Laguna Seca blue, stick shift, ceramics, cloth seats. That was it.
That was it.
And it was 68.
Which is still too much money for that car.
And that so 80 is way too much.
80 for an
money.
ATS-V is a fucking
way.
joke. No
40
way.
for an ATS-V with that engine in it. 40.
Yeah.
Sorry.
CTS-V, now we're talking.
But still 80 grand.
It's more.
Right.
It's
Base
more.
is 80.
Yeah, it's
5
more.
or whatever.
But the CTS-V has the best steering for a car that size.
It's amazing.
It's rowdy
Look,
as
ATS
hell.
and CTS are like dynamic masterpieces.
Yeah.
Sorry
but
about the Q.
That V6 sucks balls. Yeah, it's no fun. And Q also is
It's just a no.
Q is a non-starter
Right.
for me.
You cannot recommend that car to anyone because of Q.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sad.
Oh wait, that's a Pearl Jam question. Hang on a second. A Pearl Jam reunion with Dave Abraziz, long overdue. Listen, they have Matt Cameron. You have to understand this. Matt Cameron is like the best. Dave Abraziz was their original drummer on 10.
Okay.
Matt Cameron was Soundgarden's drummer. Matt Cameron is way fucking better than Dave Abraziz. One of the best drummers living right now.
Have you watched the Metallica documentary?
Some Kind of Monster,
Yeah.
the old one?
Yeah.
I did, yeah, back in the day.
Remember the bassist that auditions and wins, the guy that came up through like suicidal tendencies
Yeah,
and all that stuff?
Trujillo, Robert Trujillo.
The whole movie is whatever, but that part was great because it shows you that he goes in and he's super prepped for the audition.
Yeah.
They're like, everything we asked him to play seemed easy.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was just playing around. It was all easy. All the other bassists that came in were trying to keep up with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you're saying is kind of similar. Like the guy took over.
Matt Cameron learned 80 songs in a week to play with Pearl Jam. They needed him in a week to be on tour, and he learned 80 songs in a week.
Jesus.
And he's the best. I'm telling you, he's the fucking best. They say Eddie says the best seats in the house are the behind the stage seats, so you can watch Mac.
You can watch him play.
Yeah.
This be a quick one.
Nick Howe says, "What track prep should you do for a 997-2 GTS for Thunder Hill?"
Tire pressures, and just go have somebody do a tech inspection on it. Make sure that all the bolts are tight. There's nothing else you need to do, and you have brake pad material left because those cars are bulletproof.
Make sure your pads are in good shape. Make sure you got some life left in your tires.
Batteries fastened down.
Yeah.
No floor mats in it, and go.
That's about all. What did you just skip over? Just randoms? Thank you. How long until you see the Safari building comedians and cars? We won't, but Jerry saw it at Malibu and said it was very me. So probably never, but I did get the Seinfeld approval. Samuel says the idea of the Alpha 4C is my dream car. Is there anything else that replicates that experience but is a better car? Maybe a non-S Cayman or an MR2.
Lotus Elise.
Lotus Elise is where I go.
Right. Lotus Elise is a better 4C in every way, except for the way it looks.
Yeah. 4Cs are not good.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I don't think
they're not
good.
Amazing, but they look amazing, so it doesn't matter.
They do look amazing,
They're
but
fun.
They're fun.
Well, the one the press car I had understeer.
So does the Lotus.
Really?
I don't like the steering in them. I think it's too heavy.
The steering's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's just like almost artificially heavy. And I
Yeah.
think part of that is how thick the steering wheel is. There's some weird stuff going on.
It's a small steering
Right.
wheel for non-power steering car.
And my Elise, which weighs about the same as super light steering, and it gets really heavy as you approach the limit. But the Elise is dynamically better than the 4C. Plus, it comes with a stick.
And it's already depreciated.
That's true.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Elise
30 grand.
Exige, I would go with a Lotus. Yep. Bad Rabbit Habit says, a W124 wagon for a third car? My first car is a heavily modified Mark I Rabbit.
He's nuts. He just put another 2-liter. I drove his car.
Oh, you know this
recently.
guy?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay.
He's a nut job because 1 million horsepower wasn't enough, so now he wants 2.3 million. He's one of these kids these days who turbocharges everything. Yes, 124 wagon for first car, second car, or third car. They're amazing.
Yeah. Wait, is 124 is an E-Class from the 90s, right?
From 85 through 86 through 93.
Is that the one? Wait,
That's the Bruno Sacco, the one that looks like a 190.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are nice.
They're bulletproof.
Those are lovely.
Engines,
get one.
It's a 12-valve straight six. Eventually, the valve guides wear out and it burns oil. And who gives a fuck? Everything else. That's like literally the problem area.
It's a classic design.
Yep.
It still looks good today.
Possibly the best built car of all time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Could be. All right. I actually had a friend who had one in high school and treated it like absolute garbage, and it was fine.
And it never broke.
Nope,
right?
never.
Exactly.
Not once.
Used oil. That was it.
Jason, what is your beef with tall gearing in cars?
Okay, very simple. How fast do you drive at your peak, let's say, on a normal drive?
90, maybe, on the highway. Maybe.
I'm shocked. It's okay.
Not
You're
in
a fucking felon.
In LA, yeah, probably. But in LA, not often. I'm kind of with you.
Most of the time, 95% of the time that we spend in our cars, we spend between 0 and 50 miles an hour.
Yes.
If I drive a car that does 65 miles an hour in first gear, a la like GT500 or some other Vipers, whatever, you could do that whole thing in first. What I want to do is run through the gears, and I think that acoustically is fun and pleasing, but also if the whole point of driving a manual is that dance of shifting and being smooth, and you don't ever have to shift, well, then what's the point? If you drive an ND Miata is perfect because they top out in third gear at like 67 miles an hour. You are just running through the gears, just keeping up with traffic. Whoop, 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 whoop. You're not going anywhere, but you're having that dance. So if you want to maximize that dance and the fun, short gears do it. Otherwise,
True.
And if you look at like quick cars that are like 7 seconds to 60, what I would call like a quick older car, a lot of times you're in fourth gear by 70 miles an hour. Whereas a modern car, and that does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, you're in second gear at that point. Each of those gears last the same amount of time. A Viper does 3, like a street start of 5 to 60 without a clutch dump, a 4.5 second 0 to 60. That whole time is in first gear. No.
I definitely don't ever want a car where a 90-degree right turn in the city means first gear.
Right.
That I want to be in second for.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like to run. I mean, we all should be wanting to run through the gears.
Yeah.
If you're lazy, you can have short gears and shift and skip gears. You can start out in second in a Miata. It only does 52 miles an hour in second gear. It's still shorter than a GT500.
Yeah.
And you can go second, fourth, sixth if you want.
Yeah.
But at least give me the option of running through the gears, especially where I live. The fastest I ever go on a daily basis on the highway is 70 at the most. It's 55 zone. Everyone's doing like 42 and smoking pot.
Yeah, I mean, I said 90, but that's I don't go 90 every fucking day.
Like,
I go 90 if I leave the city to go out somewhere. But if I'm in the city, like 60.
Right.
Maybe.
Exactly. And me from where I live to the city is 10 minutes, and then across the Golden Gate Bridge and whatever. If I hit 71, I've done really well.
Yeah,
and then most of
yeah.
the rest of the time is city streets.
Yeah.
And if I can be, have to run first or fourth gear between every lights, well, then I've had fun.
Average speed of travel within city limits of Los Angeles is 18 miles an hour.
That fast.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Eat, Sleep, Drive says, what process do you both follow when doing a video review? Do you find it more important to start shooting immediately, or do you drive the car for a while before you start shooting?
I mean, ideally, you drive the car for a week and then think about it, but it never happens that way.
Ideally, I drive the car for a week and shoot the video on the very last day.
Yeah.
That's as much as possible time in the car.
But there was, I did a Lexus LC500 episode, and the first time I drove the car was basically on camera, and I changed my opinion of the car halfway through. Once I did all the terrible, stunt driving shit that we had to do, I'm like, oh my God, this thing's really good at different things that I thought it was going to be good at. So too often we have, get in the car and start talking.
That's what all the one takes were pretty much. Every fucking fan's car is you don't drive at all before you. But I don't. What happened was with all those, I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about any of those 500 cars I drove now. But anything I had spent a week with, I could tell you everything about it. LC 500, by the way, I'm an evangelist for. I think it's fantastic.
Love it. It's a great luxury car.
It's the best Aston Martin that Aston Martin never made.
Except it's the okay.
Or it's a well-made Corvette.
It's certainly better than the DB11.
Yes,
it's certainly. But it's not fun. It's just an incredible car. And I wish it was a little bit more fun.
It could be a little more fun.
Gearing, that's another one that's geared stupid. 105 miles an hour in fourth gear with a 10 speed. Fucking stupid as that. So it does 0 to 60 in 9 seconds or whatever. It was 2 seconds slower than it should be because of its gearing.
Because it had too long of
4.8 to 60 when we tested it initially. It was just for the 5-liter V8. Come on.
I just had the GSF, which I also think is a great car, and it's an 8-speed, right? But you could do 73 in second and 104 in third, which is all right.
I said fourth. It's third.
Yeah, it's third. It's third. Yeah.
And
then they've got 6 overdrives on top.
Toyota gears their 8 speeds the same way they geared their 4 speeds. And it was just I just put
I just had a Wrangler Rubicon, and so it had 410 gears, but it has an 8-speed automatic. I never saw it go over 4,000 RPM, and it felt like you could drive it around in one gear all the time. It almost felt like a CVT because it was programmed to shift early for MPG. It was really tall, so you never really took it over $3,000 driving around the city and stuff. And even off-roading, it might hold a gear, but you're not going that fast. It was very weird.
Yeah. Let's see. Should I save my rusty... Well, rusty pretty much eliminates a lot of it. Should I save my rusty Mark I Scirocco hill climb car or swap all the good bits into a clean Mark II Golf shell? The good bits include 16-valve, ABA turbo, and LSD.
So ABA is the 2-liter, 2-point slow, 2-liter, 8-valve, 115 horsepower motor from the Mark IIIs.
Okay.
With a turbo on them, they make power and limited slip. Depends on how rusty the Mark I is. I mean, Mark I's are rad. They're gone. They don't exist. You never see them anymore. People lose their minds when they see one. If it's salvageable, do that. I mean, Mark II is a stiffer chassis, and probably a better car overall to drive every day, but it's not as special as a Mark I Scirocco.
Yeah, if you can make the finances work, I think Mark I's are rad.
Mark I's.
Yeah. What's that dude's name? Corey says, I just got a Fiesta ST after a bunch of boring econo boxes, and it changes the way I think about driving. Good job, Corey. Has a car ever done that for you? Changed the way you think about driving?
Lotus Elise, first time I had one on track. It was like this, people always talk about being in the zone. And I didn't know what they meant until I did like a 4-hour track session and ran out of gas on the car because I wasn't paying attention. I was just top off and I was just drifting on a 4th gear corner right up against a wall, just a little bit of opposite lock, and it just sputtered at the end of it. And I'm like, oh, what? Oh, shit, this isn't like a video game. This is real life. Yes, this is what it's supposed to be like. So, yeah. And a Fiesta ST will do that. Those are fun.
Yeah, they're great. I think the first time I drove Lee Keen's Safari car, I went, oh, fuck me, because I thought with the rear engine and I was like, there's no way this thing is going to turn in on dirt. And then not only did it turn in, it was the easiest oversteer initiation I've ever felt in my life, and also the easiest correction, and everything about it made so much sense. I said, I have to have that. And now, 2 years later, I do. So that was a big one. Nate Higginbotham says, what do you think about making a W123 Mercedes 300 turbo diesel safari car?
That is
diesel.
amazing.
Your engine impressions
That's
are really
fantastic.
fucking good.
Thank you.
I would
spend way
throw
too
the
much
engine
time
in the garbage, but yeah, I would definitely. I think the idea of a fucking. I mean, they drive them things. I don't think you have to do anything. They drive them across fucking Africa as
Yeah,
is.
Go buy one on
Put
Craigslist
BFGs
for
on it.
$800 and
Yeah,
do
buy
it.
one and put snow tires on it. Done. Safari car. Right?
Amazing.
If you did it with a coupe, with a 300D coupe,
Yeah.
a CD, that'd be fucking rad. I still really have a soft spot for those.
Should have one. That's still cheap.
I have an old Mercedes.
What do
I
you
have a 129 SL.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right. You
Yeah.
bought one after I sold mine.
Yeah, you had the 320 with a stick, right?
300.
Oh, 300.
300
Yeah.
SL24.
A couple of people were like, you should have bought his, but like mine was meant for traffic, and so I didn't want a stick. Mine's an 01, so it's the single cam, whatever. I
Dead nuts reliable.
love it.
Yeah,
I
they're great.
absolutely love it.
They're great.
It is
They're so good.
I love how it looks. I love it in traffic. I got a big stereo in it. It's fucking
And
awesome.
they're hot rods. People don't realize how fucking fast they are.
It's actually
yeah.
fast. Yeah,
It's just absurd. The noise that comes out of it, you're like, that old
Yeah.
lady just made that noise.
And because I drive in traffic so much, I have to like give it the Italian tune-up
Yep,
once in a
clear it
while.
out.
Yeah, and it sounds really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Good.
Let's see. What is this? Oh boy, I'm sorry. I went for his name, Lakshaya Pratap. I hope I got that right. Love the show. Any recommendations for a fun alternative to a Fiesta ST? I'm liking the 500 Abarth because of the sound and the quirkiness.
That noise.
The noise is good. I hate everything else about it.
I love the way it looks because it's like adorable, but it's such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't.
not
and
a
it's-
good car.
and I don't mind a little bit of a piece of shit, but they just kind of blow turbos all the time. And all my friends kind of keep buying them because they're $10,000, and they drive them for a year and they have the biggest smile on their face, and then they put a turbo on it and they're like, "Fuck this," and sell it, and they go buy another one. I mean, I love it, but just go get yourself a GTI. It's an actual car.
Yeah.
Here's
Or
another
Mini
one.
Cooper.
They're really not built
bills.
well. Yeah, they're not built well. I hear, and they're really expensive. Here's what I want to throw out for you. How about a Corolla XRS with a 6-speed? The one with the Elise engine in it. They're pretty
never
rad.
driven one.
I think they're rad. I think they're not that good looking.
They're not that good
and
looking.
They're not as
Hideous,
quirky or
But they are fun. They
That
drive
motor
very
is
good.
8,500 RPM.
I know, and the shifter
1.8.
feels really nice. They drive
Okay.
good.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Or a fit Sport with a stick.
No.
Not
No.
about the fit.
No, I mean, matted doing 48 miles an hour in traffic. And the thing is, it's slow is fine, but it's slow and miserable, and it sounds like shit. No.
All right.
Bitch.
I know these guys TCS who do K-Series swaps into fits, and they're fucking fast.
Okay, that would be fun.
They're really fast.
But even the rest of the car, no. Just no. No, it's a fit.
yeah.
That's
All
not
right.
what it does.
Well, I would say don't buy a Fiat because it's a Fiat.
No, the car's terrible.
Get an SRT4 Neon.
It's at
They're
least
not,
fast.
they're not good either, but they are fast.
Death trap, but it's fast.
Blake says, what do you think about a BRZ Safari build? I love that everyone's going safaris. I live in Michigan near Detroit and go up north quite a lot. There's a lot of trails up there. So there are straight BRZ rally cars. Like, you don't have to safari it. Like, the safari thing is like a 911-y thing. Like, build a fucking rally car. Like, they have that shit. You can just buy it. Like, all those Dirtfish school, give me a picture of a Dirtfish BRZ for them. Like, they have them at Dirtfish Rally School. You don't need a lot of special suspension. Yeah, look, there you go. These things are awesome. I went up there with fucking Jay Leno, to drop a name for you, and he was driving these things and had a blast.
I can't imagine how fun they'd be.
So
Those are
fun.
BRZs are like 10/10 cars.
Yeah.
Anything less than 10/10, they're kind of
On
but
dirt, this thing may as well have 500
amazing.
horsepower. You know what I
They're
mean?
amazing. They're
And-
so good at the limit.
Yeah.
So that
It's
if you're
worth
on the limit the whole time in the dirt.
Yeah.
Man. And it's snow in Michigan.
Oh God! we
dude,
had
so
one
good.
at long termer when we were at Road&Track, and
Really?
everyone
On
fought
snows?
over it every time it snowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay was working his ass off to drive this thing in a straight line. It was so cool, and you don't have to do a big lift or anything. Just get the right wheels and tires and whatever the shocks are that they put in the rally cars. That's it.
Everyone's only complaint ever about that BRZ, which I don't really agree with, is that it needed more power. Well, when you have less grip, that solves that
That's
issue.
the same thing,
So
yeah.
it's therefore the perfect car.
Yeah.
I would say don't be careful lifting it and putting huge tires on it, because then you're going to feel the power detriment even more, right? Like, if you,
Yeah,
your
no,
tires are
yeah.
big and probably heavier, but you've got more power than this
I have
thing.
more power,
Right.
and plus you don't necessarily need to like add roll and stuff to that.
I
You
wouldn't.
just, you know.
Leave it floppy like that. I mean, it's just it loves to be sideways, and so
Yeah. I would just just do the rally car shit. You don't need to quote Safari. That's a double question there. Track prep for Thunderhill.
No, now he changed his question from, I think it was it a 991
now
GTS
it's a
before?
C4
Now it's a
GTS.
C4.
The same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, modern Porsche. Make sure your tires are good. Make sure you have brake pads. Get rid of your floor mats, etc. Unique four-door daily driver with a sporty auto for $45,000. Should I get a 2014 C63 edition 507, a used GSF, an early F80 M3? Last gen C60. I think the GSF.
Yeah, I like that car a lot.
I like it a lot. It's a ton of car for $45 grand.
Absolutely no on the F80 M3. That's not. I'm not a fan of that car
unique.
At all. C63 is a lot of fun. I mean, 2014 that would still have the actual 6.2 in it.
It does. Yeah, and the 507's got a little power bump. I think.
Yeah, I might be tempted to do the Mercedes. The GSF would probably be more reliable.
Yeah,
if you like the way it looks.
Extended warranty on the Mercedes.
The noise that Lexus makes is just.
The Lexus sounds awesome, and the intake noise sounds so good.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Cody, let's see.
He just said thanks.
Oh, thanks, Cody. Austin says, hey, I have a Mustang GT PP1 and will be replacing the suspension followed by wheels and tires for primarily street driving. Which would you prefer and why? Square stance or staggered? I always say squares. Mustangs handle better square stance.
You'll know this more than I will, but 305 is a lot of tire on the front.
I would 295s all around. That's what I would do on one of those.
Compromise.
Yeah, I don't think you need a 305. I think the car would tramline like crazy.
Right.
Yeah, 295s at all four corners, and you are good to go, sir. Thank you. Amin says, what is the average cost of building a Safari 911? I don't know. I don't know the average cost. I could tell you what I paid, but I'm not going to.
You don't want to ruin everyone's day.
I mean, look, it depends on the car. Like, you know, if a, quote, Safari 911 is really just the suspension, you can get the Elephant Racing suspension, and I don't think it's all that much. And you get wheels and tires. But, like, do you want to add a skid plate? Do you want to add the light pod? Do you want to add... Lee Keen retails them for $135 grand, including a car. MB is Frenchie. I'm not going. This guy.
We've had him before. I don't know what he's talking about. That's why I skipped him.
I want to say I appreciate you as a fan, buddy. But you ask questions and you use the show to complain about your dealer experiences, and I'm not going to take those questions anymore. So if you have questions for guests, I will take those, but he asks many questions per show, typically about issues with his shitty used exotic cars and complaining about how dealers treat him. I don't want to continue that because I don't find it interesting. So if you have questions that are not about your shitty exotic cars, we can answer them, but I'm going to bail on that one. Sorry. Ming Zhao says, Camaro SS 1LE or Civic Type R for occasional track use and daily use. Any other recommendations? I have a Z06 already, and I don't need 4 doors.
I haven't driven Civic Type R yet.
It's very good.
That's what everyone says.
It is very good.
But you got to look at it.
You got to look at it.
Yeah.
It has cooling issues, in my experience.
Yeah.
I know that's been a controversial topic.
It had cooling issues in my experience as well for track work.
Randy Pope said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say for occasional track use, then SS, and then you got to live with a Camaro every day.
But he already has a Z06, so I don't know why. If you already have a Z06 for the track...
I think the Civic Type R is a better road car than the Camaro SS. Like, it's got a big back seat and a big trunk. It's more practical. But if you really are going to the track with it and you live somewhere where it's warm, the Camaro you can hammer on.
It's not going to care.
And it won't give a shit.
Care.
Whereas the Type R might be. I will say, I've seen some Civic Type Rs with like lightweight 18-inch wheels and sticky tires at the track, and you wouldn't believe the cornering speeds. I mean... The speed that you can carry in one of those on sticky tires is unreal.
True. They just...
But
I've been around them 2 or 3 times. One, they're ugly as fuck. They look insane.
Are.
They look like they took the van from the Japanese like Bosozoku van and they just shrunk it. And then the cooling issues. I've been around 1, 2, 3 different track tests with them in warm weather,
and they all
every
overheated.
time it's pulled power.
Yeah,
and when it did it on proving grounds, all of a sudden it just turned the heater on without throwing up any warning lights. So
really?
Parker was like, "Why am I sweating?"
I wonder
my
if
balls
that
off
was
all of a
their
sudden?"
fix. They auto crank.
All right. You don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. I would say probably the Camaro then. Haithman says.
Said.
Hey, he have you driven the new F90 M5? No. Have you?
Yeah.
The new M5?
Yeah.
Thoughts as a daily in the Northeast to complement a GT3. Lots of highway hauls. The E63 suspension is not that comfy.
I mean, the M5 suspensions, we're not exactly talking about a car on 16-inch wheels with you know, like big sidewalls, but it's a comfortable car. I mean, it's a nice M5. It's not, actually, it's an M7. It's badged the wrong way. It's huge. That car is just really big.
The new 5 Series is big as fuck.
It's really big, but it's not bad.
Have you driven the new E63? Is it stiffer?
I haven't driven the new E63.
Okay. That was one of...
But AMG... I mean, previously the E63 was stiffer than the M5. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the E63, the M5 I thought rode great. I mean, it definitely is soft, but it's controlled, unlike the rest of the 5 Series lineup, which is
I drove a 550 that was like sloppy. It was real sloppy.
It's the only time. So I live on a road by a road called Paradise Drive, and it's aptly named.
Oh, I know that road.
All around Tiburon.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I know that.
That's sort of the road.
I think we did the bullet launch on that road.
Probably
around the lakes.
No. This is right north of San Francisco, but it connects sort of my house and my friend's house, and so I use that as my test loop because it's really bumpy, really twisty, and really tight. That is the only car that I ever had to abort because I thought I was going to break it in half. It was the worst handling, worst ride of any German car I've ever driven. That's M550i, and the 530 wasn't much better, and they're just disasters. The M5 is good.
I like the E63 a lot. Yeah, I was a fan of it.
I've driven everything with that motor in is just shut up and
except for the new Vantage, which is not quite loud enough.
I'm driving one this week.
I get another one. I got one, and it was a very early build, and I wasn't kind to it.
Can I say one thing? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be. Look at the fucking thing. It's hideous.
I wasn't kind to it, but it had some real problems, and Aston Martin asked if they could send me one that was built more recently, and I'd have another go, and I agreed to.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's wonderful. However, what a fall from grace.
It's not pretty.
And if it drives anything like a DB11, which people say
it's better. No, it's better than that. Oh. It is very fast, I will give you.
So is everything else.
It's true.
That's not enough anymore.
It's true. I agree. I think the 2011 V12 Vantage with the 6-speed is the one to have.
2012 and a quarter when they went to the faster steering ratio, and I'm with you.
Do they change the steering ratio?
Yeah, 2012 V8 Vantage all got like the N420 steering and the big brakes and all the rest of the shit.
Oh, do the 12s get it too?
I don't know if the 12s got it.
Okay,
but give me a 2016 V12S manual 7-speed.
See, I like the 6-speed better than the 7-speed.
Really? 7-speed's geared like a Miata.
It is, but I don't think that's necessary with a V12.
That was the point. No V12 is necessary to begin with.
That's true.
True.
I loved that. Of all the cars I drove in my entire career, 12 years as an automotive journalist, I offered to buy 3 cars. The first one was the Super 20, which was the Miata that Cosworth supercharger on it that Mazda built. And I told them, you're not getting it back. Just tell me how much I owe you, and that's the end of that. And they were like, fuck you, give it back. And then I drove 911R and V12 manual Vantage back to back. And I told both of those car companies, if you can get me one of these cars at sticker, I will sell a whole bunch of shit and buy one. And neither one could.
Aston wouldn't?
Wow.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't get me one. They were quote sold out. And of course, then I talked to a dealer friend 6 months later, and he's like, I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
But funny enough, a year later, I kept thinking about it. Which one would I have rather owned? And it'd be the Aston. That V12S manual.
I said the tell me where to send the check line when I had the GT350R. I said, I'll take this one. I said, I'll take this one's had the shit kicked out of it. It's got 8,000 mile press car. I said, just tell me where to send the check, and I won't give it back.
And they said no.
At least it was an R, because the regular one is the only car that I wrecked during the People, there's trivia for you guys who are still listening. That was, I spun it off into a tire wall.
Oh.
Not filming. There was no camera on me. I was getting Windex for cleaning, and I lost it. That car is once playing around in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's those cars you can't drift. You can't get too out of control because they snap back the opposite direction, and you have something goes on in the front axle. It's either a kinematics issue or a steering, like power steering motor issue. You just physically can't move the wheel fast enough. So I sort of spun a little bit to the left, or sliding a little bit to the left, and then it snapped back to the right and flung me right off track.
Oh no!
And Randy then spun the car, and then everyone spun the car. It was just that poor thing. But we spun we did another episode it with another R, and I think Randy spun it like 16 times. And
Really?
Let me tell you something about Randy. Never spins anything. And he's like, I'm gonna get it. And
Was he trying to slide it, or was he just
trying to drift it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then 2 weeks later, Matt's on the phone. He's like, I just want to buy this one. I love it so much.
Is it Avalanche Gray by any chance?
No. Yeah, yes. Actually, the R, but it was the orange base GT350 that
The R I had was Avalanche Gray. I put 2,100 miles on it in a week.
Damn.
Yeah.
That car, the noise that thing makes.
Oh, it's the best.
Chewbacca.
It was
Just-
yeah, it was the best.
great.
The echo that came out of my garage when I started that fucking thing was incredible.
Was your neighbors run for cover?
Fuck my
US
poor neighbors.
Geological
My neighbors
Survey.
hate me now because I have to warm up the 911 for like 3 minutes. They're not happy. They're going to be really less happy when I get the fucking Countach with no cats. Matt D says, girl, we got about 6 minutes left and then I got to go, but we'll get to as many as we can. Girl and I are planning a vacation to LA for next year. Medium format film photographer. Yes, by hobby. Good for you, Matt D. Any landscape photography spot suggestions? Other non-car car shit to do in LA. Landscape photography, canyons, Angeles Forest, El Mirage is very pretty. The beach. Where would you go for photography?
I'm the worst person in the world to ask.
Oh, dude, it's wintertime. Go to Alabama Hills.
Oh,
it's a little bit
that's
of a drive.
far. That's
but
a
it's
drive.
Awesome.
That's a very big drive. It's by Lone Pine, but it's very pretty.
You could just go to Bear Mountain then, maybe.
Yeah, up to Bear Mountain's good. The lake area.
I'm trying to think of the name of this one road. We did this one road where in the winter everything was in bloom and there was a creek and it was a mountain and it was a fucking beautiful thing.
Lake Hughes Road.
I think that might have
Yeah,
been.
Lake Hughes Road is very good. I film up there a lot. Goes around the reservoir and then down into the valley.
I think that's a different one.
That's a good one.
There was a Camaro, if a Camaro SS and if anybody
Bouquet
wants to write
Canyon,
in
Spunky Canyon,
Bucket Canyon?
Bouquet
Bouquet?
Canyon. Bouquet Canyon's good. Angeles Forest is a good place to start. Mountainous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High desert.
Higher up you can go. The higher.
Ask Johnny Lieberman too.
Yeah.
John will have 35 recommendations.
Let's see. Hey Jason, is your Scirocco the most love-hate relationship you've ever had of all the cars you've owned?
The most love.
Love?
21 years with that car.
What's the most hate?
Hated my Boxster. Had
Fair.
a 986 Boxster.
Yeah, fair. Ian says Carrera or Cayman GTS. Carrera. Yeah, always Carrera. Always the 911 if you can get it.
Yep.
Danny says, my friends have fun old German cars. It has me wanting something older. Should I sell my manual E46 330 for a Porsche 944? No.
Unless, if you don't have a ZHP 330i, if your 330i is a ZHP, keep it. If it's not, get rid of it and get something else. But 944s are...
I'd rather have an E30 IS, like a 325 IS than a 944. 944s are really expensive to fix.
Are they?
I think they are. I think the parts are really expensive
Pain in the ass
for
to
them.
work on, that I know.
That doesn't sound good.
I had so much fun when we had that shitbox 325 IS that we used for all those TV segments. I had such a great time driving that
Absolutely.
car. The engine was such a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah, it's a
wagon.
peach.
It's my second. I've had my E30 wagon for 16
That
years.
thing
Is it great?
that's
It's
sick.
beyond. It's just amazing.
I would totally buy an E30 325 and daily that.
That motor
I drove
is-
them with an M3 engine swap. Woo! It was
With the S, like an S52.
S54.
Holy shit!
It was rowdy.
Yeah, that's
it was the
nasty
great. It was
dirty.
so awesome. It was fucking so. It was the best BMW I've ever driven.
Yeah,
and I've driven an M1. Get it. I would say E30. That's what I would say, Danny.
E30.
Andy the Aussie says, thank you for your donation. He didn't have anything to really say. Thanks for highlighting, Zach. I appreciate that. Joel says, I'm planning to buy a GTR.
No.
Don't. 2012's around 60K. How well will it hold its value?
You know what? I think it actually probably will hold its value pretty well because they're
not
not
as well
selling.
as an R32.
No, but they're not selling. So
at
I
the
mean, there's
bottom.
only they're at the bottom. They sold as many of them as people want, and that's it. So it'll hold its value well.
I mean, rock bottom on a functional GTR is like 50 grand.
Right.
So 2012 is the facelift, first facelift. So probably pretty well.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, if you
value wise, if you want to do it.
value wise, it won't be fine in terms of being fun.
I'm glad we're in agreement on that. Yeah.
I live in the DC area, deciding to replace a 2006 NC Miata with suspension and full exhaust, or keep and buy a daily. Replace it with a C6 Corvette, a 2015 Mustang GT, or keep the Miata and buy a Lexus GS 350 all-wheel drive. Jesus. A lot to unpack in there.
All over the place.
DC has shitty roads. and like a Corvette is not a good daily for DC. A Mustang is not a good Corvette.
No, the
daily.
GS is.
The Lexus GS is lovely for DC.
But
Yeah.
automatic.
Boring.
Well, if you sit in traffic,
keep Miata.
Oh,
and
keep
get-
Miata and
keep Miata and
yeah,
get-
keep
yeah,
Miata
for
and
sure.
get the Lexus.
Sure.
That's what I would do. Yes,
that works.
yeah. Michael Ross says karting tips.
I don't know if we know anything about cars,
Go on
but
a
we
diet.
should check.
How to pick a good rental cart.
Pick the one the employee just got out of. We've been to K1 a couple times. Granted, those are electric and they have governors, but you just see the employee goes out on the track and is 2-3 seconds ahead of everybody else, pulling hard. And you're like, there's a governor here.
Give the employee $5 and go, what number cart
yeah,
should I get?
that's a good idea.
Because they're 16. That's a
Yeah,
good idea.
the $5 goes a long way to a go-kart employee. They'll tell you what they're going. Number 4. Number 4's got new tires. Frank says, I've got an M4 with full bolt-ons, E85 and a tune, and it's a wheel spin monster. You have learned that the best M4 is a stock one, and adding power to those makes them
the
worse.
last thing they ever needed.
Adding power to those makes them worse. Noise is not an issue, but what is the best tire for hooking up? Traction is an issue.
I mean, Trofeo R, Cup 2. I mean,
R888s.
Right, R888s.
They're loud,
Right,
though.
Rs. You know, for the street, I'd get a Pilot PS4S, Pilot Sport 4S.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I like you. Did you go on that like the PS4S versus everything launch? Was it?
No,
like
I just did a thing with them with a bunch of their competitor stuff. It's
Yeah.
just they're just night and day ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing close.
I have a hashtag on Twitter when people ask me about tires. Just hashtag just get the Michelins.
Right.
You're right. Yeah.
Right. There's just nothing close.
Yeah. Thoughts on the upcoming Honda Super Cub? Is that the vintage scooter, the vintage bike that's coming out? I
Oh.
think that's the new. I think someone said as a scooter rider, there's a new Honda. Oh, it's like the old one. Is there a new one?
This is
like
the
it?
new one.
Oh God, that's heinous.
Wow.
You don't pull that
That's
that
like a
picture over, Zach?
Piaggio.
Well, this was their first thing that they sold in America, like back in the 50s, but they reissued it. It's fucking ugly.
Yeah,
You
it
meet
is.
the ugliest people on Honda
That's
now.
Here's the thing about my scooter. My scooter looks like a utility vehicle. There's no way to look cool on a scooter. You can't ride any scooter, even if it's like an $8,000 Vespa. You can't ride any scooter that you will actually look cool on.
No, if you have long Italian hair and you're talking
Well, if you're
Italian and smoking a
already
cigarette
good
with a
looking,
cappuccino, yeah.
that's different. Then you're already good looking.
Then you're cool in spite of.
in spite of your scooter.
Fair enough.
You know, but you're not going to look cool on this. So either resign yourself to the utilitarian nature of the kind of scooter I have, or don't get a fucking scooter. I mean, I'm not about
I've never
that.
liked the scooters with the large wheels. I think they look very strange. I think at Piaggio in Italy they rock those a lot, but
Yeah, someone says, do most AER Miatas brake as much as ours? Fucking race cars brake, brother. That's not unique to Miatas, and it's certainly not unique to our Miatas. And by the way, our Miata may have broken, but there was a brand new ND Miata in that race that fucking sailed into the two of that race and was written off with a racing career of one full lap.
Because what? Bad driver? Or
Cold tires, cold track, driver that was not aware, well, was certainly aware, but was not capable of handling those things.
all that amazing amount of power.
Sung Song says, my GT350 is a lemon, and I'm working it out with Ford to either replace it with a GT350R or get a refund. Should you get a GT350R or a 997 GT3?
I mean, GT350R, amazing,
Amazing.
but 997 GT3, come on, doesn't get any better than that.
997 GT3 is an excellent vehicle that is
I mean,
already depreciated.
So we can look at those particular variants and discuss the merits, but let's just back up a second and say Mustang or 911.
yeah.
Which car is it? I mean, one is a 15 times better car. Yeah,
Just
no
built
contest.
better.
Just built better.
Yeah.
in every
I
way.
mean, even though that Mustang is the best Mustang ever.
it's a $19,000 or $18,000 rental car with an incredible chassis under it and great mods, and the other one is a $100,000.
started as a
Started,
$100,000 car. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
there's
then
just
has
no
a
contest.
Metzger engine in it.
Right.
I would say GT3, brother, especially if you've already lemoned a fucking GT350.
Right.
yeah, good point.
Jack Maple, what is a good career in the car industry that pays? Financing.
Financing.
No one wants to hear
PR.
that one.
I mean, engineering, anything but journalism.
Yeah, not ours, but yeah. I mean, work with a suit on.
Yeah. Put a suit on and have a boring job that has actually nothing to do with cars, like design a door handle and you make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
engineer the new hinge.
engineering.
Or PR.
If
You like people, you could do PR. They make good money.
You can work it. I mean, I know some guys who have started as little salesman's assistants and now make $250,000 a year as a sales manager, a GM at a dealership.
Even better, service writer at BMW.
Oh yeah.
Think about the amount of repairs those guys
Service
get and their
writers.
commission.
But shout out to my friend Mark Farage. He started 2004. He worked at Town Motors in Englewood, New Jersey. My dad's Cayenne was his first ever sale. I think he was 22 or 23, right out of college. And he is now the GM of Manhattan Motor Cars.
Wow.
And, you know, if 14 years later, dude's a hustler. But Manhattan Motor Cars is Bugatti, Rolls Royce, you know, and he's a young man. Puts on a suit every day and goes and work in the city and makes fucking bank, I assure you. Selling cars is not glamorous, but you can make a lot of money doing it. Yeah. Oh, that's it, huh? We did get through them. All right. Dude, Cammisa, good show. Thanks for coming down, man.
Thanks for having me.
That was a lot of fun. We have to get you on the repeats.
No
Get you on
problem.
the schedule.
All right, I'll let you
What
know.
do you want to plug before we get out of here?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm not doing anything yet.
You're coming to Radwood, right?
I'm coming to Radwood. That's right.
I just
December
talked to Art.
3rd? Second.
Radwood is December 2nd at the Peterson in LA. And you should come to my my birthday party the night before.
I have
December
already
1st.
been invited by Art.
By
had
Art.
no-
I texted him like 2 hours before.
Good.
Yeah. The birthday party / Radwood pre-party at my house is always fun.
Radwood is, for those who have not been there yet, they just don't understand. It is the best thing to ever happen to car shows.
Yeah, if you're between 25 and 45, it's the best car show ever.
But even so, if you think about it, like when we were kids, like 100 years ago,
Yeah.
when we went to car shows, the cars were 30 years old and the music was 30 years old.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, this is fine. Nothing ever changed. It wasn't until the Radwood guys changed that. So now all this shit is 30 years old. So for us, it's nostalgic.
It never
but the kids,
moved
it's cool.
up,
Yeah.
right? It was fucking Chevelles and Bel Airs back then, and it's
And it
still Chevelles
is.
and Bel Airs
And
now.
it's the same tinny, 1950s music, which is all
Fucking
on
sock hop
right.
music. Ugh,
Yeah. But the
worst.
Radwood, like they have a sense of humor about it. Like come in your 80s clothes and come on Eileen.
It's
and
fun.
Come anywhere you want.
It is.
And you miss that. I totally
Jizz on everything.
Ew.
Just jizz on everything.
On the Ferrari.
It's very fun.
And we're back.
Yeah.
That is the next sort of.
What are you going to bring out?
That's the big question. So the only car that I have that qualifies for Radwood that has not yet been to a Radwood is my bitch basket.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Cabriolet.
Should be good.
But I think I could bring the Scirocco too. Because
You can probably recruit another driver too and bring multiple vehicles.
That would require letting anyone else drive my cars.
Oh, really? You have a zero tolerance policy?
Pretty close to zero.
I have a pretty close to zero tolerance policy as well. I don't fuck. Zach is one of about 3 people that I will let drive my cars. There's
Because I'm
not-
insured under the company policy.
There's that. But also, number one, they have to be able to afford to replace it. And
Yeah.
it's, in some cases, like the Scirocco, there is no replacing that car. It's 21 years of my life.
Yeah.
And 2, they need to be able to fix it if they break it. And,
Yeah.
and that means they
Not-
need to be able to
Musto's
not
out.
break it in the first place. Right. Musto's not the most prolific mechanic I've ever met. But also Musto's really gentle on the machinery.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No,
there's
he
that.
is.
He's got that going for him. But there are some people who are just don't have that mechanical sympathy, and
Yeah.
I'm the one that's got to fix it. So
I actually have a lot of mechanical sympathy despite the fucking smoking tire, whatever nuance. I've never, knock wood, I've never broken a driveline component in any car I've ever owned or
Ooh,
driven.
that's a good question.
Not one.
Never ever.
Never.
Nothing.
I've never broken a driveline component.
I just snapped a motor mount after 38 miles in the cabbie.
I don't consider that a driveline component.
I'm fine then. That's great. I've never snapped an axle or.
Yeah, no, a tranny, a clutch, a diff, an axle, a drive shaft.
Yeah,
Those are driveline.
I had a tranny
components.
explode in the Scirocco, but they do that. They just it just
That's
happens.
its fault.
It's great. I was 5th gear on the highway. There was a big bang, and I was like, "What was that?" And then it just locked the front wheels and sent me right off the side of the highway.
Whoa.
Because Volkswagen's lucky.
That's really good.
Yeah. But otherwise, super reliable, right, Jason?
Otherwise,
We're talking about
great
before.
car.
It's
Great.
33 and 31. I can't do the math. 32 years old.
What year is it?
87.
Yeah.
It'll be
Same as my
it'll be
911.
32. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
80s were the best.
87, 88's a good year.
Yeah.
Countach is an 88 as well.
Wow.
So I'm
Oh my
right,
God,
I'm
you're
right in the zone.
Yeah, I realized that my cars, the Ferraris are 75, but then the rest of them are 85,
Mm-hmm.
87, 88, 90. Apparently, I have a
You have a
theme
pattern.
stuck in the 80s.
Thanks for coming in, dude.
Thank
that
you
was
for
a
having
great
me.
show. Live,
Appreciate it.
folks, thank you for participating in this one. That was a good one. We love having you.
Hope you didn't watch the whole thing because I suck.
Don't sell yourself short. You only kind of suck. Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. You just need a microphone, a connection to the internet, and hopefully something to say. Tomorrow, we've got Brian Scotto, the creative director of Hoonigan Industries, live in studio at 7 p.m. Pacific. And if you're not listening to this one live, it'll be the next time a podcast airs. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Bye.